seconds to go. Dursey slaps it on. Puck to the near wing. Foot to the puck. Bring out the Zamboni. 1-0. The Blues have won 2 in a row.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. How simple it was just about 48 hours ago as the St. Louis Blues win their second consecutive game. They win one more, Alex, and what's it called?
That's a win streak.
They're going to have to do it without Alexei Toropchenko and Jimmy Snuggerud.
You want to break down the injuries, BK?
Scalding is the word that the Blues used. Burns for Alexei Toropchenko, and I don't mean to make light of it. It sounds like a terrible situation.
If it's keeping them out week to week, it's pretty bad.
Yeah, we don't have any other information on what exactly happened. Hopefully they'll be able to find something more at practice today. But yeah, it doesn't sound good for Alexei Toropchenko. And then some kind of a wrist issue for Jimmy Snuggerud. He's getting surgery on this, Alex?
Yeah, did they say it? I don't know if it said it was broken, but they basically said it was an injury to his left wrist, which means he's going to be out for 6 weeks.
Week, right? Yeah.
6 weeks, they said. Now, take that with a grain of salt. Jake Neighbors was 6 weeks reevaluated, and he was back at 4 weeks. And the good part about this one is he can continue his in-shape skating with this injury. Like Jake Neighbors had to get back into game shape because of his knee. This one, you're going to have surgery. It's going to take a couple of weeks to heal, but at least you could stay into game shape. So I'm not buying into he's going to be out for 6 weeks. But you're probably not probably. You're not going to see him until January.
Wrists always make me nervous. Feet injury, wrist injuries, those always make me nervous, especially for a guy whose best ability is a shot.
Yeah,
it's not something that you want to be messing with. So, yeah, I mean, it's not good news. It's not good news. The Blues have been playing better hockey, though. And this is not to take away from the fact that you're now without two of the guys that are pretty much mainstays in your lineup. I will ask the question, though, and again, I hope those guys get back soon. How much changes for this team?
Mm-hmm.
Because, Alex, Jimmy Snuggerud has 1 goal this month. Alexei Toropchenko very recently had been a healthy scratch for the Blues, and I don't know that they were necessarily worse because of it. You can make a pretty strong case. It's not hard to do. Matthew Joseph has actually been better 1-for-1 this season than Torpo. Now, you're also going to be out, it looks like, with Pius-Suter tonight as well.
Yeah, his was a lower muscle-related thing that's been nagging him, according to Jim Montgomery. And the way he made it seem like you were leaving him out in that game because it was a back-to-back. It was a lot of hockey. They wanted him to nurse it.
And if he misses tonight's game, I suddenly have a little more skepticism on that.
Now, and maybe it's still like, look, we just want to get him a couple of games. Now they're going on the road. I assumed he'd be back in this one because it didn't sound severe. It doesn't look like from their line rushes. It looks like Alex Santeri-Kaskamaki is going to make his NHL debut. So, yeah, you are going to be doing this without Pius-Suter as well.
So I say all that to say this. We still feeling good? How are we feeling about the Blues right now? Because coming into today, my belief was Alex is 100% back on board. There's no way he watched back-to-back wins.
Yeah.
They've had a point in, I think, 10 of their last 12 games. Alex is absolutely going to try to sell me on why I need to believe in the 2025 St. Louis Blues and how they're going to get back into this thing. And, yeah, maybe they were out of it at Thanksgiving, but by Christmas, you watch out. It's coming. I'm not sure how Alex is going to respond to the news that we got this morning. So how are you feeling today,
You were fully prepared for that. For me, I was fully prepared for you to pull Colton Parayko 2.0, saying it's done. Season's over. They just lost another guy. It's done. And then we all know what happened once BK wrote off the Blues. Look, am I fully buying into this team? Not yet. They won back-to-back games. I think they've played, I'd argue, 3 really good games back-to-back because the Devils game they lost in overtime was a really good game. They lost it, but it's still great. And then the Senators, Utah, look, you've put on a defensive clinic in those games. The reason I'm not buying into it, though, is because of that Rangers game. The Rangers dud is the one that still keeps me hesitant to look and be like, yeah, we said it. I'm not going to go back on my word. I needed to see 4 or 5 games strung together before I can sit there and be like, look, this team's figured it out. I will say this about them, though, because you ask how much does this change? In terms of what I've seen in the last 3 games, it doesn't change anything. Because you pluck Toropchenko out. Guys, Toropchenko was a healthy scratch a couple of games ago because he wasn't providing what they needed, and Matthew Joseph has been the better player. And then Snuggerud, as much as I love Snuggerud, and look, the guy has been noticeable, but he also has gone 8 straight games without a point. So His 200-foot game is there, but he's not creating offense right now, which frankly the Blues aren't creating a lot of offense. But defensively, this team has changed something. Before they went to that Toronto game, Joey and I talked about it on post-game, and he said they're going to have to make some type of changes. Pavel Buchnevich said it a couple of games ago that we made changes to our game prior to that Maple Leafs one. And since they played against that Toronto Maple Leafs, every one of those games have been a one-goal game. And also on top of that, they also have been, I think it's 7 straight games where they have not allowed more than 3 goals scored to their opponent. So they have fixed defensively. Since November 18th, they are 7th best in the National Hockey League in terms of goals allowed. Goaltending, defensively, they've changed the way they're performing. They also are averaging 2.1 goals per game. Can't be winning hockey games 2-1 every single time. So
all you got to do is score 1.
It's 1st to 3 in these games. Too.
Yeah.
Because like the Blues regulation goals allowed since that time span that you're talking about, Alex, November 18th. 2, 2, 1, 3, 2, 3, 1.
Yeah.
They're not allowing goals. Like they're doing the goal suppression thing. This is Jim Montgomery hockey. You can love it, you can hate it, but this is Jim Montgomery hockey. This is the way that his teams tend to win. They just need to get more offense. Like they've got to start. They've improved in one area. Now it's time to start lifting up the other. This is kind of how it went last year, if we're being real with the Blues. They fixed their goal suppression issues, and then they worked on the offensive zone. I just don't know if they have the talent to fix the offensive zone. That's the thing that I'm wondering right now. Do you have the goal scorers to get this done? And one of the guys that I think could have potentially done that for you is Jimmy Snuggerud.
Yeah. So you hope that Dvorsky can get going. He's been a little snake bit in terms of offense.
He's done nothing at 5-on-5, though.
He's getting chances, kind of like Pavel Buchnevich has been. He's just not finding the back of the net.
It's become their best, if not second best line.
I like it when he's on the ice.
Line.
He does not have a 5-on-5 goal.
Yeah. But what's wild about it is the guys with him, Shen and Buchnevich, have all been scoring and picking up 5-on-5 points.
I like him. When he's on the ice, when he comes over the boards, that line is on the ice, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
But he is not a guy that is producing offensively the way that I necessarily expected. He has 4 points.
Yeah.
And one of those has come at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
The crazier part about that is he's actually been better defensively than he's been offensively, which you don't expect from a centerman. The real guys we're talking about here, first of all, Dylan Holloway is on a point streak. I think it's 3 or 4 games right now, but regardless, Dylan Holloway is starting to heat up.
It's so funny. I feel the same way. You look at his actual production, though, it's almost the same.
Yeah, it's what he was last year. He just turned it on.
I'm talking about like first 17 compared to last 11 games or whatever for Dylan Holloway.
Yeah.
He's like the same dude, basically. He just feels so much better.
He's one of those guys, too, that like once he starts, you hope it picks up. Pavel Buchnevich had a point streak before. It was snapped against Utah, but it was 3 straight games where he had a point. Thomas is continuing to pick up points. But really what we're talking about here is you got to get Kyrou to start scoring goals. I think that goal that he scored against Ottawa was the first goal that he had scored, or maybe his second goal since he returned from that healthy scratch. You get Booch scoring, you get Kyrou scoring, Thomas scoring, Holloway. And then the other one now with Snuggerud down is you need Jake Neighbors back. And Neighbors, you can tell, is he's trying to get back up to game speed because of that injury that kept him out for 4 weeks.
So, put a fine point on this. How are we feeling today about the Blues? Because the actual on-ice results, they're getting points. They're racking up the points. It's been a struggle to get 2. They have done that each of the last 2 games, though, and their potential tonight against the Anaheim Ducks, a good team, a good young team, to get 3 in a row for, I believe, first time this season, right? Yeah, it'd be the first time they've won 3 games in a row all season long.
Can we please get this out of the way?
Yes.
Unlike last year where we needed post 4 nations to do it.
Yeah, that sucked. How am I feeling about this fine point here? I think they have improved. I don't think this is now a playoff team. Before I say that, if you can find a way to beat the Anaheim Ducks tonight, tomorrow I will have a different tone. Because that's 4 straight games where they've played better hockey. Your goaltending is now fixed. Defensively, they are a sound performance. Logan Mayhew's playing better. Offensively is the part that I'm still skeptical about. They're in this, though, because the Western Conference has allowed it. But you have fixed your defense and goaltending to be a playoff team. Offense has to get going.
I was feeling better, and now I don't know how to feel because of these injuries. Yeah. Because I think it throws a wrench into everything. Like Snuggerud, though you mentioned he hasn't picked up a point or a goal in whatever it is, 8 straight, I still feel like he's been one of their more consistent players. And now that you lose Torbchenko, yes, he had been out of the lineup, but you now are breaking up the fourth line because of the Snuggerud injury. Joseph is now leaving the fourth line, which has been their best line. That is the line Jim Montgomery has trusted to close out games, to start games, to get the momentum on their side, and now that line is being broken up. Now you're locking in Bukestad into your top 9 right now, and he's been okay at best this season. And this is a kind of team that it only takes one injury when you're a pack mentality to really throw everything off. So I was feeling better. I'm very concerned about what they're going to look like now that they are missing Jimmy Snuggerud.
Alex is right. I mean, if they win tonight, there's at least a scenario in which they have the same number of points as the second-place wildcard team. Yeah. Like, the Western Conference has just failed to pull away from the Blues.
Third place in the Central down, everybody is tight together.
Right now, the Blackhawks would be that final wildcard spot team with 27 points. The Blues have 25 entering tonight. Again, there is a scenario in which we wake up tomorrow morning and the Blues are suddenly tied for the final wild card spot. There's games played, stuff that all kind of factors in here, and like these other teams have tiebreakers and whatnot, but just in terms of the sheer number of points that they have accumulated on the season, they would be tied for a wild card spot.
It's the Western Conference.
Do I feel good about them? No, I've watched them. We've all watched them. So no, I don't feel good about where they're at. It's like asking me, do I feel good about the Chiefs? No, of course not. But the rest of the AFC is terrible, so sure, they could win the Super Bowl. And the rest of the Western Conference has been bad for the most part. And so sure, the Blues could still make the playoffs. That's just where they are. It's 11:14. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers and officially licensed Rolex jeweler.
Couple of updates from Jim Montgomery at practice. First of all, he said Snuggerud was playing with the pain on Saturday, so they think that's when it happened. It got worse from there. He's got surgery scheduled for tomorrow. And then the plan is for Kaskamaki to play tonight, which is his NHL debut, if he gets into St. Louis, because apparently there's a delay getting him from Springfield with all of the weather that we're about to encounter. So if he's not, then they're going 7D and Tyler Tucker will play. So to T-Bone's point about the fourth line, you're going to be seeing Joseph double shift. He's going to be on that fourth line with playing on that third line.
So that's what you have leading into tonight. Alex will have pregame coverage starting tonight at 6 o'clock. Puck drop for Blues versus the Ducks at 7 right here on your home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. In 15 minutes, we'll get into some NFL quick hitters. And yes, I've seen your text. We will talk about the Kansas City Chiefs coming up then. How was your guys' Thanksgiving? Everything good over the weekend?
Good, buddy. It was not as chaotic as you'd think.
We drove 4 hours to Kansas City. And I got to tell you, the last time we did this, it was a traumatic experience for everybody involved with the 2-year-old. He was great. He did awesome. He did the way there was awake the whole time and was fine for the first hour. Second hour got a little frustrated, but we found some stuff. Third hour,
I get it. 4 hours in a car.
Watched Danny go the whole way. The rest of the way.
You can't watch Danny go while you're sitting still. You got to move.
It was good to go. So we figured that out. He got to see yesterday, Alex. It was the coolest thing because my parents both live in Kansas City. We saw my mom, his Nana, for breakfast. He calls him Pop. My dad, his grandpa on my side of things, came back into town. We stayed at his place. He was with my sister in Atlanta, so we got to see him before we left Kansas City. Then we came back to St. Louis, and last night he got to see Kara's mom and dad.
Hey-o.
So in one day, got to see all 4 of his grandparents.
That's great.
It's the first time that's ever happened outside of his first birthday party. So
my girls
really
got
cool.
to spend time with their cousins, and then they put up all the Christmas decorations on Friday, which is the way it's supposed to be, ladies and gentlemen. Black Friday,
that's too late.
Christmas decorations.
I am regretting not putting up our Christmas lights yet.
Oh yeah. You're
Because
screwed
I
now.
don't have another opportunity to do so.
Katie did it Friday
It'll be
afternoon.
great when it's snowing today. You go out there and do
You'll
it.
be like Tim Allen in the Santa Claus in the Santa Claus where he falls off
if
the
you
roof
see
and
pants, put them on. Yeah.
We're
You become Santa
seriously
Claus.
considering the permanent ones.
permanent pants.
No, the permanent lights.
Why don't you wear those?
I would wash those.
Katie's wants to do those as well.
You put them up, they just stay up all year long, and then you just flip the
I
switch.
just feel
you're
like
ready
it's
to go.
tacky because you could see the lights, and you're the people that have Christmas lights always up.
Nobody cares. What I've realized,
I care.
Nobody else cares.
We're gonna judge you.
As long as you have them ready to go for the winter, and like it avoids this scenario where it's negative 100
This was
degrees
just poor
outside.
planning, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you had 70-degree weather last week.
We had a lot going on. I don't know if you heard. By the way, me and T-Bone both coming down with a little bit of an illness. So if you hear that, I
What's up,
apologize.
Ferrario?
I'm gonna do it like this right here.
Mucinex is in my system and it's flowing, baby. So if I say some wild stuff today, it's not just
That'll be
me.
cute when
It's
you guys
also
are all healthy. You can do the pre and
Mucinex-ated.
post next week.
He's Alex. That's T-Bone. I'm BK. In 15 minutes, NFL Quick Hitters. Questions and answers coming up at 11:45. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line. To get involved in the show, you can always check us out on YouTube as well at youtube.com/101ESPN STL. Coming up next, the Lane Kiffin situation is over. And it exposed every issue that currently exists within college football. We'll give you our thoughts on the matter next here on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Our long nightmare is over. Lane Kiffin is heading to LSU, just as we all thought he was going to a month ago. Now, how we arrived at this point, oh boy, was it a roller coaster ride of emotions.
Days of our lives, Ole Miss edition.
T-Bone's pissed. I don't know any other way to say it. He's furious about everything that took place. T-Bone is very old school. He's by the book. He's very mad today.
Now
and frankly,
he's whining.
T-Bone, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Everybody should be mad at the way Lane Kiffin handled this thing. It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for him. It was embarrassing for the sport. It was embarrassing for everybody that is associated with college football in any meaningful way. The only one, honestly, in my opinion, that shouldn't be embarrassed is Ole Miss. They handled themselves incredibly well through this entire situation. Their athletic director had some stones to say, hey, if you're taking that job, take it. But you cannot coach us while you're out there coaching another program that we play annually for a trophy. You can't coach us and have that job.
And Lane said, I could do what I want.
Yeah, and then they said, no, you actually cannot. You will be let go from your current role. And then Lane said, cool, I'll give my coaches an ultimatum. They're either with me on the plane to LSU or they don't have a job offer to go to LSU. And it's like, whoa. Okay,
and then didn't he have a meeting with his players and told all of the players?
He wasn't allowed to go to that meeting.
I saw he wasn't at the meeting.
The athletic director said, Lane, get out.
Yeah.
You're done. We don't want you here anymore because you're not our coach. And they decided to hire their defensive coordinator, who, according to the Ole Miss guys that cover the team, as of Friday night, the plan was for Joe Judge to become the interim coach. And at some point between Friday night and the end of the day on Saturday, it went from Joe Judge is going to be the interim coach to our defensive coordinator is the permanent head coach. We'll see how that works for him. I'm highly skeptical, but whatever. We have now arrived at the end point, which we all thought was coming. Lane Kiffin is the head coach at LSU. Ole Miss is now going to be playing in the playoff without its entire offensive staff, basically. Like, I think they retained their running backs coach, and everybody else on the offensive side of the ball has to be replaced, including their offense coordinator and their play caller in Lane Kiffin. What was your takeaway from all of this entire Lane Kiffin saga, Alex?
I mean, I think it was dirty the way he handled it, and frankly, not professional at all. I also can't blame him for taking the LSU job. I mean, it's a better job. We talked about this with Drink, that if the LSU thing comes open, I get it. You're going to go where the situation is better. Now, there's a lot of noise around that situation where the mayor's involved and AD has been told you're not in control. But I guess when you're Lane Kiffin, you come in and you are in control of that roster. So, I mean, I understand it. I just think everything that went about of him acting as if there was nothing there. And I understand there's partially a game there because you're trying to leverage and get as much money as possible. But when you're handing out ultimatums to your staff, when you're not allowed to talk to your players, when you're getting on the jet and the entire fan base is there flipping you off, it could have gone a lot better than this. I don't know if my issue, yes, is with Lane Kiffin as an individual because it's a real trashy way to handle this.
Oh, yeah.
But the issue is also with college football, that we're in the situation that the time frame of this is taking place right before the college football playoffs. So the whole system is jacked up. But, Lane, I think there were more professional ways to handle this than the way it got dirtier towards the end.
I do agree with you. Somebody in the YouTube chat, I am right 03. That might be that should be me.
Did you just burner us in the middle of the segment?
Can't blame him for taking the LSU job. You can definitely blame him for how he handled everything. Agreed. I don't know how you can handle this, though. Not the way he did. I can tell you how you don't handle it. It's a really tough spot. Because you take this job for the next decade, or at least that's the hope. Probably Kiffin the next 3 to 5 years. But for most people, you take LSU for this to be the end point. Like, you want LSU to be the job where you win a national title, hopefully plural, multiple national titles, and you are remembered fondly, and you're remembered among the pantheon of the next decade of coaches in college football because you took that gig. So I get it. I think this is one of the very few outliers in college football that if LSU offers you that job and you're not at one of, 3 other jobs, you take it. That being said, like, your team's in the playoff. This is what we play for. Like, everything that college football revolves around, the portal, NIL, high school recruiting, all of this other BS that you have to deal with to be a college football coach. It's for what he was currently accomplishing. Like, they made it. They got to the end point. And he said, actually, I want that. And so he's chasing something, Alex, that I'm not sure is actually attainable. Like, there comes a certain point in your life, and T-Bone, you'll get here eventually. Alex, I think you and I are here, where you settle. Not in a bad way, but you settle, and it's comfortable. Like, I live in St. Charles in a house that I am hugely happy with. This was not at one point in my life my dream. When I was 17 years old, I did not dream to be the midday host in St. Louis, living in a suburb with a dog. That was a 9-pound dog.
And a child.
That part was part of my dream. But eventually things change for you, and you're like, you know what? This is really good. I'm happy here. Mm-hmm. I don't think Lane has ever arrived at that place. I thought maybe that would be the case at Ole Miss, but he seems to be somebody that is just constantly striving for something different, believing that he's going to find that happiness elsewhere. And I think what he's going to find, it just might not be out there for him. He may not be able to find that fulfillment in coaching if he hasn't found it at Ole Miss. So I say all that to say this. I think he's a symptom, not the root cause, and also he screwed up here royally. And if you're an Ole Miss fan, you should hate that guy for the rest of his life. And this is unforgivable, what he's done. And also, this is college football. Like, this is all of the messiness and the way that the sausage is made. It is all wrapped up into one Lane Kiffin sausage link right now. And it's gross.
Can I add it's so gross, especially Lane Kiffin and sausage being in the same
like
conversation.
A sausage fest?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Now we're getting weird. Let me add one more because I know T-Bone's just impatiently cooking over here. You also should have known what you were getting into when you hired Lane Kiffin.
Yeah. This is how it ends.
Lane Kiffin has been this Lane Kiffin since he's been in college and pro football. So you should have known that this was going to be the end result at some point. All right, T-Bone, cook.
Yeah, I just hate the way that he handled it all. I mean, I'm with you guys there. Especially because he's going on what is just a theory that LSU, he can win a national title there when he was in the playoff right now at Ole Miss. And I think it's possible that this couldn't have been just a one-off for Ole Miss. You know, I think that is a program that's willing to invest the money that it takes to try and go out there and get to the playoff on a consistent basis. Win a title, I don't know, but I think there's going to be a lot that's going to be said by what Indiana does in this playoff. I would have never thought that Kurt Cignetti would stay at Indiana, let alone get Indiana to a spot where they would be in the playoff back-to-back years and be looking like one of the top teams in college football. So I look at that and I go, I think he could have done this at Ole Miss, and instead he's chasing something at LSU that I don't know that he's going to be able to accomplish.
Can we pivot real quick?
Yeah, I could tell there's breaking news when I saw your eyes get real wide.
UCLA is expected to hire James Madison head coach Bob Chesney.
Then, wow. Who
is Penn State hiring? Are they just going to hire their interim?
I wonder if it's someone that we're not thinking about.
Somebody was saying
like a Power 5
Brian
sitting
Hartline,
coach.
the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. He was apparently a candidate early on.
There was tons of theories out on social media, which is typically where all the news breaks, of Josh Heupel potentially going to Penn State.
Taking Penn State?
Yeah.
That'd be a good hire.
Apparently, they were eyeing him up throughout this coaching search, and the question is he taking the meeting?
Yeah, I don't think that they can sell to their fans the Ohio State OC. To me, it's almost got to be a big splash.
I mean, I think we've seen in this cycle, and this is why, like I said last week, if I'm a Mizzou fan, I want nothing to do with this cycle. It's great that Drink signed that extension. Thank God. All these coaches, or these jobs that everybody was like, they're going to get this big candidate. No, dude. Like, it was Kiffin and a bunch of G5 guys. Like, Florida hired John Summerall, the Tulane head coach. Auburn hired Alex Galesh, who I thought last week when we left the show on Wednesday, he was taking the Arkansas job, and then he was announced as the Auburn head coach, but whatever. He's the USF head coach. Arkansas eventually hired the Memphis head coach. Ole Miss promoted their defensive coordinator, who the night before Saturday's game was not considered to be an option as the interim coach. Kentucky's now open. I don't know who they're hiring, but they fired their coach yesterday.
I feel like they were a little late to the game.
No.
Stanford hired a guy that hasn't been in college football in the last few years. Oklahoma State hired the North Texas coach. Virginia Tech hired the guy that can't win the big game, and I think he might be the best hire of anybody. They hired James Franklin, and now it sounds like UCLA is hiring the James Madison head coach, who's been there for a couple of years, and he took over for Kurt Cignetti, who I would say left him a pretty good program. So I have no idea if the guy's going to be great at the Power 5 level or not. So those were the candidates for all of these jobs. Mizzou was going to be in that pool, G5 guy or coordinator. I'm very happy that Drinkwitz decided to stay. I'm very happy. Also, dude, this year's portal is going to be insane. the number of kids that are going to be available because their coach left, there's going to be some serious talent available, and Eli Drinkwitz's going to have more money than he's ever had available.
Hopefully he can go find that quarterback that we've been talking a lot
Fingers
about.
crossed. We'll see what happens in that scenario.
It wasn't Prabula.
No. But they did have a good running game this year. So
Yes, they did.
Credit to them for that. Coming up in 15 minutes, questions and answers. 314-399-9646. That's the Your Comfort Service text line. NFL Quick Hitters next year on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live here in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. I'll be getting in the action tonight. I'll be taking the Patriots on the spread -7.5. I'll be taking the Blues on the money line as well. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use my code TANNER. That's code TANNER as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TANNER. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Tanner Hendrickson here with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Blues will be back in action tonight as they host the Anaheim Ducks. We'll have pregame coverage tonight starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario, then puck drop at 7 o'clock with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. This Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
All right, let's dive into some NFL quick hitters alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK. Where do you guys want to start?
Where do you want to start?
Should we start with Thursday?
I think we should start
toward
with
where we were yesterday.
I'm thinking Thursday,
game.
like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, the middle game, I think, is where we should start on Thursday. Because the afternoon game, it didn't really matter as much.
So the Chiefs played the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day.
Loosely used the term played.
Yeah, they were there. And I told you guys on Wednesday I'm nervous about this game. I had them winning by 1. That was my official prediction, 27-26. They lost by 3. They are now 6-6. They don't own really any of the tiebreakers. As of today, they would be 10th in the AFC playoff race. For those curious, there are 16 teams in the AFC. Ooh. That's not a place you want to be in. There are only 7 that ended up in the postseason. Are Chiefs going to miss the playoffs, boys?
Man, you hear that, T-Bone? You hear what I hear? I think it's Boys to Men singing. Although we've come.
I heard.
You want to get my official thoughts?
Well, obviously, you still think they're going to get in and make the playoffs and win.
I think it will be determined this Sunday. If they beat Houston on Sunday night, I think they make the playoffs. I think they're running the table. If they lose Sunday, it's all over. And they will not make the playoffs this year. They might lose 2 or 3 games the rest of the way. But I think all of it is determined by Sunday. And whether or not they're able to beat the Houston Texans head-to-head, they're probably going to play this game without their left tackle, Josh Simmons, who apparently dislocated and broke his wrist.
Ooh.
They might have to play this game without their right tackle as well, who had a tricep injury. They already were without their right guard, and Trey Smith, who has a high and low ankle sprain that he's been dealing with. So that is, for those keeping track, your left tackle, right tackle, and right guard, and you just play against maybe the second best pass rush in the NFL on Sunday.
Yeah,
it's not looking good.
I unfortunately don't even think it's that Texans one. I don't think the Chiefs can afford to lose another game.
Oh, I agree.
And although some of these are winnable, like you beat the Titans, you beat the Raiders, and I even think the Chargers now that Herbert's hurt but they also have to take care of the Broncos. And I mean, I don't have any faith in them anymore, man. Like it's not just their defense, because they can't get stops, but the offense as well. It's just so hit and miss. Sometimes they look great. Sometimes they look disconnected.
This was a perfect microcosm of it. In 2 quarters, they scored 14 points. In the other 2 quarters, they did nothing.
Yeah. And if you're telling me that they're going to be without these tackles again, man, I don't see how there's any way this is going to work. Because now Mahomes is under pressure even more. The weapons that he has, again, look disconnected out there. Agreed. And then defensively, man, if I'm watching them go up against the Texans and the Broncos, I think they'll put up points because the defense has just been so hot and cold.
Yeah,
I hate the Broncos offense, by the way.
Yeah, I don't need to see another game to determine the Chiefs are not a playoff team. I mean, they just have too much going against them, and they look like a 500 team. And what I mean by that is there's times where they look great. There's also times where they could lose to anybody. And I think you're seeing that with them this year. The defense doesn't come up with enough big plays. Offensively, it's weird to say with Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what I'm going to get from them on a weekly basis. I didn't think they would lose to the Dallas Cowboys because I don't view the Cowboys as a playoff team. I know they've got a good offense, but come on, they can't stop anything. And they stopped the Chiefs.
They've been better defensively lately since they made the trade for Quinnen Williams, but agreed. Like, I'm not pushing back against what you're saying.
And the other thing, they have none of the tiebreakers right now. That's the other thing. It's not that they are just looking up at the Bills going, okay, we're 2 games back. Make it 3. You lost to the Bills. So you're running out of time. You have none of the tiebreakers. I can say it today. They will not be a playoff team.
They lost head-to-head against the Jaguars, lost head-to-head against the Broncos, lost head-to-head against the Chargers, lost head-to-head against the Bills. They've got a game coming up this week against the Texans. Thank God, beat the Indianapolis Colts. That's looking more like a last gasp, though, than the thing that's ultimately going to put them over the top. They're in a really bad place. All right.
Real quick, I think 3 teams from the AFC South are playoff teams. I think it's the Jaguars, the Colts, and the Texans. And then I think you get the Broncos to win the West, the Ravens who are going to win the North, and then you get the Patriots and Bills.
I'm worried about the Colts. I'm not sure they're getting in.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great after watching them.
3 games might all be losses.
I mean, who's gonna unseat them though? Because the Chargers, I think, are dead in the water now without Herbert.
That's the thing. Like,
Do you think the Steelers are going to unseat them?
tell me how many of these games you think the Colts are going to win. Because they might finish with the 8 wins. I'm serious. At the Jags.
I think they win that one.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't.
I think that's a toss-up. I would lean Jags because they're at home.
Okay.
I think the Colts
At the
defense is better.
Seahawks.
That's a loss.
That's a loss. Although the
Home
Seahawks
against the
have kind of been-
49ers.
I think they could
I
win
think
that
they could
game.
win that one.
I think they could. I'm not sure they will. Home against the Jags, same thing. I think 50-50.
You're gonna win
and then
one of those.
on the road at the Texans.
Yeah, you're losing that
They
one.
they could lose out. It is at least in play. Every one of those games that I just mentioned are losable for them. They lost at the Pittsburgh Steelers a few weeks ago. They went to overtime against Atlanta. They lost against Kansas City, who we just said are not very good. They didn't just lose. I know the score was close. They didn't look good at all in that game yesterday against the Texans. The Colts might be done.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that throws me off a little bit. I don't think any of these teams in the AFC are very good.
No.
I don't think the Chargers are any good. I don't think the Broncos are very
I think
good.
the
Watched that game
Patriots
last night.
I think the Patriots are the best team in the AFC right now.
I think the Bills are the best team. I have no evidence to go off of. But I think if you had to, like, I have to put my life on the line for one of these teams.
I'm not
doing
doing it for any of them.
in the AFC. I think I would pick Buffalo because
Yeah.
at least I'm tying myself to Josh Allen.
Yeah,
I don't like any of these teams, man. Like, if Kansas City were to get in, I'd probably pick them to win the Super Bowl. Not because I'm a homer, although yes, but because, like,
Hey.
I don't trust any of these teams. And at least they've got Patrick Mahomes. So,
It's-
yeah, like, I'll go with him, I guess.
Well, you know,
It's
what's
wild
funny?
to say the Texans are the ones that I probably trust the most
I get
because of
that
how
too.
elite their defense is.
And you know what's funny is I don't even know that that's just an AFC conversation. I don't know if there's many teams I trust in the NFC either. I think it's Rams and that's it.
I think at least there are teams in the NFC that I think are good. Like, I think the Seahawks are
Yeah, but I feel like you got to be
really
great
good.
to win a Super Bowl or even get to a Super
I
Bowl.
think
sure
you
that's
have
the
to.
case this
I
year.
think you have to be great in the playoffs to win the Super Bowl.
That's probably fair.
And some
but
of
if
these
I'm
teams.
saying you're good, I don't know if
Packers
you
are
can do
back,
that.
baby.
No,
We're back.
Get the hell out of here.
I mean, are you guys not buying it at this point?
No, the Bears are better than the Packers, which I never thought I was
I
going
don't
to
even know if
say.
I wanna
feel
buy
that
into the
way at all.
Bears.
The Bears, I can't wait to bet against them in their first playoff game. It's going to be awesome.
Are you kidding me? Ben Johnson's taking his clothes off, man. They're winning.
That was great.
Getting hot
He's ripped,
in
by the way.
here.
Way to go,
I
Ben.
I
know.
had no idea.
Way to go, Ben.
I think there's a real chance the number 1 seed will be an underdog in their first playoff game, in both conferences.
100%.
Because if the Bears are the number 1 seed in the NFC, like, you could see the Packers, the 49ers, or the Lions, or the Seahawks potentially as their opponent in that first round, in the divisional round. I think they would be an underdog against all of those teams, despite the fact that they're at home. And then on the AFC side of things, you've got the Broncos or Patriots at the top right now. They could be going up against one of the Texans or the Bills or the Chiefs in the first round. And I think all of those teams would potentially be favored on the road.
If you're not Josh Allen
crazy.
right now looking at your team saying, if you MFers don't get your stuff together because Patrick Mahomes isn't in the playoffs, this is my only shot to win a Super Bowl, so we need to start playing better.
Be safe out there, by the way.
Why? What's going on, man?
It's snowing a lot. I thought it was supposed to be just like a light dusting today.
Oh, no.
Nah, 2 to 4, man.
Yeah, Templeton rolled his sleeves up.
Did he?
Yeah, 2 to 4 inches,
God.
baby.
Well, be safe out there then.
Did you park in the parking garage?
Nope, sure didn't.
Yeah.
I'm on the
I
lower
saw.
level, baby.
There's a reason I brought it up.
Oh, no. All right, well, 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line.
I have one of those wipers if you need me to get one out of the car for you.
I'm going to go move my car real quick. We'll get to questions and answers coming up next here on 101 ESPN. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. A lot of people on the text line saying it's rough out there right now. So if you are driving, first of all, please don't text in right now.
Yeah.
Second of all, be super safe and have a little bit of grace for those around you. Everybody's just trying to get home. It's the holiday season. Be really, really safe out there. And hopefully this means you can hang out with us for a little bit longer on your drive home today. Get home safe. Maybe have
Snuggle
some,
up in your PJs.
some laughs with us. We could talk a little sports. I mean, life isn't so bad.
Get a Snuggie on. Pop some coffee in a mug. Let's talk. Let's talk, guys.
T-Bone, what's your drink of choice when it's cold outside? You coffee,
good,
tea,
good cup of coffee.
hot cocoa?
Not hot cocoa.
T-Bone drinks cocoa on October 30th with a Christmas hat on.
I can see that.
And he's got those mini marshmallows
It's about
in
the
it,
time
too.
when your Christmas lights should go. Oh, no mini marshmallows. Just a whipped cream
Crushes
guy.
The candy canes on the top.
No, and he
Maybe
does
get a
little,
candy cane rim on there.
does little graham crackers on there, too.
Man, I could go for hot cocoa when we get home.
Somebody on the text line. I work right behind Hubbard. I'm in the parking garage at work and heard PK say it's snowing. Just look out. Holy bleep. Yeah, man. It's rough out there. All right, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. From the 314. Guys, if Georgia loses the SEC championship game, do you still think they should get a bye in the first round? All right, let's go through the scenarios here.
So if Georgia loses in the championship
Georgia
game.
loses to Bama. I think so. You'll have Indiana or Ohio State also with one loss at that point. One of them would still. Those teams are getting a bye.
Yeah.
Those teams are locked in. It doesn't matter what happens on Saturday. The stakes of this game and the Big Ten championship game, despite being 1-2, 1 versus 2, have never been lower. It just doesn't really matter. One of them's going to be the 1 seed. The other team's probably going to be either the 2 or the 3. Would Georgia still get a bye? I don't think so.
See, I think they still do. I think the only team that you could put ahead of them would be Texas Tech. Oregon shouldn't be awarded for not playing a football game to get a bye. And I don't know who else you're putting ahead of them. Like, I wouldn't put Ole Miss ahead of them, but I wouldn't put
Tech
A&M
would be the
against
one
them.
that I think is for sure. You
And that's
wouldn't
if
put
they win
Oregon ahead of
theirs.
them?
No, I mean, they didn't play. This is the weird part I have about these championship games. Like, I don't think they should hurt anybody. Like, I don't think
I
if
agree with
Alabama
you.
loses, they should be kicked out of the playoff for a 2-loss team that got to sit at home and drink their hot cocoa
Dude, the
with me.
thing is, like, Bama probably should jump them. Bama would have at that point beat them twice, head to head. So shouldn't Bama be considered the better team? And they've both got 2 losses on the season at that point. So wouldn't you just flip them in the rankings? Like if a
you
team
do
beats you
it-
twice in a season,
if you do
they're
it,
pretty clearly better than you.
If you do it, I'm okay with it, but I'm not dropping Georgia down to like 10. I
No,
think
they
Georgia
should be, like,
stays at like
5.
5. Yeah, that's where I would put it.
I would have a hard time not
Yeah.
putting Bama into the top
If
4.
Bama beats you twice, there's no reason that team should be considered better. You lost twice to your opponent that's better than you.
Yeah, I think that would be my argument. I would say Bama should be ahead of them. But Bama has like the worst loss of any of these teams.
Yeah, that's
They
the tough
lost
part.
to Florida State. Now, they also have some of the best wins, but that Florida State loss, man. It's gross. All right,
They didn't make a bowl
314-399-9646
game.
is the Air Comfort Service text line for questions and answers. Somebody from the 636 said, beside Penn State, Clemson, and USC, could an argument be made the next biggest football disappointment this year is Illinois?
Whoa.
It's a great question, T-Bone. How do you respond?
I'm going to go back to the preseason top 25. Number 1, Texas. I would say they're up there.
Yeah, they're going to miss
Failure.
the playoff.
Penn State, we already mentioned. Clemson, we already mentioned. They were at 4 in the
Clemson
preseason
at
top
4?
25. The expectation was this was going to be the year, man.
Wild.
I would say LSU's up there. I mean, so much so that they got their coach fired midway through the season. They
Kansas
were number 9.
State.
Yeah, K-State's a big one.
I think they went 6-6 on the year and had to win this weekend to get a bowl eligible.
South Carolina's up there, too. They were 13. They basically had a mirror image season of
Florida.
Illinois.
Did we say Florida or no?
No, but yeah, they would be up there as well.
They missed the bowl game. Think of that. It is hard to miss a bowl game when you're a Power 4 team.
Yeah.
Illinois, though, preseason number 12. Yeah, they are absolutely among the biggest disappointments in the
They
country
are,
this year.
but they are not in the top 10.
They're not a
Oh.
failure. They are a disappointment.
I would agree with that.
I'd say they're top 6 or 7.
No way.
Yeah.
No way.
ones we
Texas,
just
bigger
went through?
disappointment.
Yeah.
Penn State, bigger disappointment.
Yeah.
Clemson, bigger disappointment.
Yeah.
LSU, bigger disappointment.
LSU, bigger disappointment.
Florida State, honestly, after theirs.
South Carolina's pretty similar, but bigger disappointment, I would say. Florida for sure.
Arizona State, I would put up there. Kansas State, I would put up there.
I don't think Arizona State is as big of a disappointment.
They lost their best player.
They lost their best player. And their quarterback was hurt for a decent portion of the season. They were on their third-string quarterback.
Tebow's just trying to make it look worse so his team's not up there.
I don't think Arizona State's as bad.
I think Illinois is in the top 10. If you're going to put K-State up there, Illinois is up there too.
I think Illinois might be 6 or 7 on the list of most disappointing teams relative to expectations.
You said that they had to be a playoff team this year.
Agree.
In fact, you called them a failure.
You barely got to 500.
I agree, but I don't think they're top 10 when it comes to being a failure. Like Iowa State, bigger failure. Kansas State, bigger failure.
Why is Iowa State a bigger failure?
Iowa State fell off the
They're 8-4.
What were their expectations coming into the year?
They came in at number 22. You were at 12. The expectation coming in was you are a playoff team.
Boise State, bigger failure.
What?
They're going to miss the playoff.
They also were missing the only guy that made them relevant.
They came in at number 25 and went 8-4 and won their conference.
No.
Your sorry-ass squad came into the season at number 12. You had to have a miraculous second-half upset to beat Duke. You got your ass handed to you against Indiana,
Best
then
team
against
in the country.
Ohio State.
Second best team in the country.
You failed spectacularly to show up against Washington, and then you lost against Wisconsin.
We're not top 10. We're not top 10.
Explain the Wisconsin one, T-Bone.
It was cold, you know?
Yeah, you're top 10. You're
like
7 or 8.
I'll give you Texas, Penn State, Clemson, LSU, Florida.
Kansas
you're
State.
6th. No, Kansas.
Yeah,
no,
I'm not
they
putting
went
K-State.
6
What
and
are you
6.
talking about, dude?
They were 15 and they went 6 and 6.
They were
or
not
17.
15.
Excuse me.
They were 17.
Oh, my bad.
So you were 5 above them, and what'd you finish?
8-4, which is better than 6 and 6 and
Only
needing to
2
win
better.
to beat Colorado, the worst team in college, one of the worst Power 4 teams,
my God.
to be bowl eligible.
T-Bone, stop trying to deny that your team had a massive failure of a season.
Yeah, you failed.
I agree. Not
And
top 10
now
worthy.
Your
failure.
window's over. Because your window was connected to the quarterback, and your team failed so spectacularly to protect him and insulate him with any kind of weapons that they couldn't even get to 9 wins this year, dude. At least with Mizzou, when they had Brady Cook, they had Luther Burden, like they got to 10+ wins in those seasons. Illinois failed. Whew, that's a bummer, man.
They almost won more
Couldn't
big
be me.
games,
My
though.
team would never. 314-399-9646 is the
eligible,
Air
too.
text line for questions and answers. From Dim Hogs, any chance Ole Miss gets the Florida State treatment and is left out of the playoff now?
No. I think they're going to get a lower seat, though.
I agree. I don't know that they're hosting a playoff game.
I think they're going to get a
they
lower
should,
seed.
by the way.
That's a
Man,
huge.
I made that argument when it was just the coach leaving, but man, you take the entire offensive. Like, there's no way I could sit here and argue that team is still competitive without the entire offensive side.
I actually think it is a. Here's where I would disagree on the championship game, where I said earlier I don't think it should hurt anybody. I think it is a blessing in disguise for Ole Miss that Alabama won that Iron Bowl. Because I said at the time, I don't think, and I still believe this, I don't think you can punish Ole Miss by making them miss the playoff. I do agree you can lower them by a seed or 2. I don't think you can make them miss the playoff without seeing what they look like since their coach left.
Agreed.
And you would have seen that in the conference championship game because we got to see that with Florida State, and you could definitely tell when they lost Jordan Travis, this is not the same team. They do not belong in the playoff.
I think they're going to host still. Because it's 5 through 8 that end up hosting. You can drop them behind Texas A&M. I can't put Oklahoma ahead of them, man. I can't put Notre Dame ahead of them. Alabama, sure. The one way where this does end up them not hosting potentially would be if BYU beats Texas Tech. Because then BYU probably gets in and potentially hosts. And they could potentially take their spot. But Ole Miss beat OU head-to-head and has 1 fewer loss on the season.
Yeah, see, I would make them the 10 seed.
Why? Like
They just lost most of their offensive staff. I would put everybody that they're behind, Oklahoma ahead of them, Notre Dame ahead of them, Alabama ahead of them.
You can't put Oklahoma ahead of them.
I can because the team that they beat, they didn't have their coach.
Play offense.
Yeah.
I don't care who. In fact, it might actually help them if they lose their offensive staff. That offense is horrible.
Yeah, but their defense is so good that how can you draw up a game plan without your coaching staff?
I would rather punt their offense into the sun than watch that team play in the playoff. I certainly don't need them hosting a playoff game. And they don't deserve it more than Ole Miss does. If there was a team that I could put it like BYU, Alabama, if those two teams win their respective conferences, all right, we can have this conversation. I'm not putting Oklahoma ahead of Ole Miss. That's crazy.
T-Bone's still upset because we said his team was a failure.
I know. He's mad at us. That's okay. T-Bone, you said the same thing about Mizzou last year, and I got upset.
I'm upset at Mizzou that I made drink Penn State shirts, and now he's not going
The good thing is I never get upset. Fuck Blues,
That's
right?
because you don't have allegiances.
I got one.
The same way.
I got one.
No.
Oh, no, not college. I thought you meant teams. I said, I got one.
no.
Yeah, no, not college football.
I thought you were talking about Lindenwood for a moment.
No, well, yeah, I do have an allegiance to them,
He
but
got killed by SEMO.
hey.
Or no, wait, Lindenwood killed
Yeah,
SEMO.
Lindenwood killed
My bad.
SEMO. So keep it to yourself over there.
By the way,
Go Red
SLU
Hawks.
this weekend. That's about as tough of a loss as you can have.
Yeah, that's why it's hard to get excited when people keep saying this is a different team. It gets exciting.
I mean, they were good. They played really well, and then just they did the thing that you're supposed to do. They fouled up 3, and they did it. They allowed the time to drain. Like it was well executed, and then
You got to rebound the ball.
Yeah, you got to get the rebound.
oh,
Got to win the board battle.
that was tough, man. That was tough, and that's the kind of win that you need on your resume because they beat Santa Clara, which you needed, and then you got to beat Stanford.
Yeah, at least the A10 looks decent this year.
It looks very good. It looks very good. All right. He's Alex's T-Bone MBK. Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll play a game of in or out. Stay safe out there. It's looking rough. I mean, we're looking out on Olive. People are going about 5 miles an hour right now. So I can't imagine what the highways are like. Please be safe out there. Just
Yeah,
tune
and
into
let
us, hang out.
MoDOT do their job, too, so that they can get those roads cleared. Because the faster they can get it cleared, the easier it's going to be for you to drive home.
No doubt. So be safe out there. And just hang out with us. We'll talk some Blues, talk some Mizzou, talk some college football, NFL throughout the rest of the day. We'll talk a little bit of Cardinals as well. And if you guys want to get involved in the show, 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line to do so. You can check us out on youtube.com/101 ESPN STL as well. Coming up next, should we be worried that Broberg hasn't even talked extension with the Blues yet? We'll talk about that next year on 101 ESPN.
BK football season in full swing. Underdog, it is the best place to get in on all of the action. I know people were doing it over the holiday weekend. We've got Monday Night Football tonight, so you can make your entries for Monday Night Football and win money right now in the state of Missouri. So the first thing I do, obviously, open up the app. Boom, 40% profit boost right there thanks to Underdog. So I find Monday Night Football action, Giants and Patriots. I'm going higher on pass yards for Drake May, higher on receptions for Hunter Henry, higher on pass attempts for Jackson Dart, and higher on touchdowns for Travion Henderson. All of those with that profit boost, BK, 12-1.
Alex, I've got a 40% profit boost on mine right now that I could utilize for tonight as well. I played some on Underdog for Thanksgiving. The slate over there, I hit on a four different plays entry over there. Ended up with 11-1 odds, and part of that was because it was feast week. They've always got cool stuff available for you on Underdog. Check it out today. Download the app, sign up using the promo code BKO. You'll score $100 in bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code BKO. Underdog, make plays, win money. Must be 18 or older, present in Missouri. Terms to apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncbgambling.org. Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK. So, Alex, earlier today I was reading over on The Athletic. Our guy Jeremy Rutherford, who joins us each and every Tuesday here on BK and Ferrario, had a piece, and he was breaking down how well Philip Broberg has played this season. In a season full of disappointments, Broberg has been fantastic.
Yeah, he's been the best player on the ice every single night.
And maybe the points don't jump off the page. Time on ice certainly does. His effectiveness defensively certainly does. And as you watch the game, like this is an eye test thing, he's driving offense as a defenseman. It's been really impressive to watch. According to Jeremy Rutherford, he reached out to Philip Broberg's agent, who said, hey, haven't talked contract yet. Would love to eventually do that. The belief was coming into this season, those conversations would start right around now. Get to December, and then we have those conversations, lay the foundation for what an extension will look like. JR mentioned in his piece before the season, the thought was maybe 8x6, 8x8 on the high end.
No.
Two-part question for you here, Alex. One, should we be worried that there has been no extension talks yet? And two, what do you think an extension would look like if they were to get one done in season?
So I'm not worried that they haven't had extension talks yet, mostly because, one, his agent's Darren Ferris, who's one of the top guys in the NHL. It's kind of Scott Boras-esque, who likes his guys to go to free agency if they choose that route. Now, Sam Bennett is his agent. We all know how that went, to where he was going to go to free agency, opted to stay where he was. So if the guy wants to stay where he's at, they're going to talk contract negotiations. Broberg's an RFA. I do not expect Doug Armstrong at all to not get this guy locked up. The question is, to your second point question, is what's this going to look like? Because for me, I think anybody would look at it and say, oh man, if you could get him signed for less than $10 million AAV, that's a win. I look at this as if they can get him signed for anything more than 3 years is a win, because he's an RFA. He's a UFA 3 years from now. So essentially, it's kind of like what Bo Byram just did with the Buffalo Sabres, to where he signed, but he signed a 2-year deal that walked him up to free agency and then can decide what he wants to do. So unless Broberg is in love with St. Louis and says, I want to be here, my guess is his agent is going to say, hey, let's 2-year deal, keep you here. Let's get to UFA, though, because the cap going up, teams are going to want you. You're a number one defenseman. We could bank. If you can get him locked up to 8 years, to me, that's a win, because I don't see him signing for anything less than $10 million AAV. I mean, number one defensemen are getting paid that right now. And I told you guys in the office, I see a lot of Miro Heiskanen and Philip Broberg, and Heiskanen's 26 years old, and I think he's got a contract that, let me double check what Heiskans is at. He's 8.5. So, like, cap's gone up. So I think you're probably looking at, if he's willing to sign a long-term contract, 7 or 8 years. If it's anything less than 9.5 AAV, I'd be surprised. I think we're talking 10 plus AAV. Hell yes. This guy's 24 years old, and Jim Montgomery said prior to that Utah Mammoth game, not the hockey club anymore, he said he is asserting his dominance when he's out there on the ice. And he's like, he is starting to realize that he can beat the best in the NHL. So he's not even at the point yet where it's like, yeah, I'm a number one defenseman. He's just getting there. So this is 24 years old. If I can sign him to an 8-year deal and have that guy locked up until he's 32 at $10 million with the cap going up, hell yes. Because this right here, this is the number one defenseman that the Blues haven't had since Alex Pietrangelo. This is the guy that drives offense, goes up against the toughest matchups in the NHL, and I believe in the month of November, he is a plus, or he's a positive at even strength goal differential, the only guy on the team. So yes, Philip Broberg deserves whatever he's going to get.
Zach Werenski, very good defenseman.
I've heard he's okay.
He's making 9.6 per year. He signed that deal a few years ago. When he did, he was somebody that was a consistent 40-point producer. He was 25 years old. Is that it? Like, if you're in Broberg's camp, you're his agent, is that the comp that you're looking at and being like, hey, if this guy in 2022 signed for 9.6, we've got to beat that.
Yeah.
We're not getting less than Zach Werenski when he was basically what we have been for you. And he got that for a 6-year deal.
Honestly, if I'm his agent, and I know how this is how the conversation goes, right? You aim high. If I'm his agent, I'm looking at what Evan Bouchard just signed. Now, the argument is Evan Bouchard just put up 82 points a couple of years ago. No freaking way. Evan Bouchard is also a liability on defense. My guy is going to eat 28 minutes a night, probably moving forward, kind of like what Colton Parayko has done. On top of that, he's a 40 to 50-point producer, and he's your best defenseman.
Harley might be the better comp, actually.
Harley's a really good one as well.
Yeah, Harley's at 10.6, 24 years old, just signed this. This is a new extension that's kicking in starting, I think, next year, actually. And he's been a 40 to 50-point producer, but it's a limited sample size for him as well. Maybe that's the comparison that you make. And so you're talking, you're in that 10.5 range. And Thomas Harley was the 8-year contract that we're talking about here, whereas Bouchard was 4, so he gets more in the AAV. Like, the longer that you go, the cheaper it becomes for the team sometimes. Yeah, Harley might be the comp. And if you're talking $10.5 million, I guess this is the question, though, Alex. If you're in Doug Armstrong's shoes, does it make sense to do that right now? Because the top of the market for defensemen today is 11.5. And that's been the case since 2019 when Erik Karlsson signed his deal. I don't know how much higher it's getting from there.
Oh, it's going to go higher.
You think?
Cale Makar's due a contract in a couple of years.
But that's not a comparable for...
No, it's not, but that's the ceiling. And then you get guys that look at that and say, I'm not there, but I'm the next tier up. Like Gustav Forsling, and I don't know what he signed for. I thought he was already on the contract. Gustav Forsling. So he got locked up. Wow, he got locked up at a steal, 5.75. But yes, he's not Makar, but Makar sets the ceiling, and then you get everybody that falls underneath. And I don't know what some of these guys are due in terms of contracts and where they lie, but it makes sense because 3 years from now, let's say he signs a contract for 2 years at $9.5 million, or 3 years at $9.5 million, buys out the RFA status for 3 years. Man, the cap continuing to rise for 3 years, you're going to probably be talking about defensemen starting around where Broberg is in terms of talent, 12 mil, maybe. So if I can get it at 10.5 for 8 years and not have to worry about free agency and everything rising, yeah, That makes sense because everything falls underneath Broberg, right? Broberg is my number one defenseman. So I'm not looking at other guys saying, well, you could argue he goes up here. Broberg is the threshold. That's $10.5 million for a defenseman on our team, and you make that work with everyone else.
Bobby Bowe on the YouTube chat said, guys, there are zero comparables to the players. You all are insane. Not even on PP1 or PP2. 10 points in 26 games is elite level.
He's not on PP1 or PP2 because they don't want to make him eat more ice time. It's the same reason they didn't do it with Colton Parayko. Broberg is playing basically the entire third period. He's also playing penalty kill minutes for you. If you put him out on power play and he's already averaging 24.5 minutes a night, you're talking about 27 minutes that you can't utilize him on. You've got other guys who can handle power play minutes.
I get the point, though. I mean, some of these guys we're talking about are posting consistent 50-point seasons, and some of that is coming on the power play where they're a real threat. And one of the issues for the Blues this season has been their lack of offensive upside. I would like to see Philip Broberg get signed. I just think there are also, there are reasons to not go with the long-term extension that we're talking about here that I think are maybe getting a little undersold. If we're talking in the $10+ million range, I just don't know how much higher it can get from there. And so, there is risk inherent with going shorter term with Broberg. There's also risk of getting him on an 8-year deal, 10.5 per year, 9.5, 10, somewhere in that range, and him actually not living up to that expectation. Him not being a $10.5 million defenseman, and now you've locked yourself into a huge salary on the blue line for 8 years at what was basically the maximum that he was ever going to make.
Yeah.
So I would sign him. I would like to get him long term. I was all in on doing so at 8x8. 8x10, 10.5, it starts to become more of a question for me.
I get it, but man, to me, it's not even about yes, you want him to be putting up points and goals like all of these guys are, but I mean, some of this is also the team around him that they're not finishing. I mean, we'd be talking about a lot more points for Philip Broberg if guys are putting the puck in the back of the net. Go back and watch that Utah Mammoth game. He drove offense every time he was on the ice. So the points are going to come. He's 24 years old. To me, I don't know if he's ever going to be 70, 80 points, but if we're talking 45 points a season for Philip Broberg, and you're telling me he's playing 25 minutes a night against the best competition and shutting them down, guys, for how bad this team was in the month of November, he finished as a net positive at even strength. That's a number one defenseman. And number one defenseman, if you don't believe me, go look at what the last 7 years have been for the Blues. Those are tough to come by. So, yeah, maybe 10.5 looks bad now. 4 years from now, when he's 28 years old and the market's talking, Zeev Buium is a really good example. He's going to be an RFA in 2 years. What's his market going to look like? Because he's putting up points, playing a lot of minutes for Minnesota. The market might push 12 or 13 mil for defensemen.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line from the 618. BK, why are you acting as if the cap is not going up? I'm not, but eventually these deals limit you from doing other things.
Yeah, well, and they burn. I mean, if you don't believe me, look at Darnell Nurse with the Edmonton Oilers. Nurse is not a $9.25 million defenseman.
And I think Broberg's a really good player. I want him here long term. He's going to be here no matter what.
Yeah.
That's the thing that I think people need to make sure that they keep in mind. In an absolute worst case scenario, he signs a 2-year deal. And you get rid of the RFA years and you go up to his free agency season. That's the absolute worst case scenario is you have him for the next 3 years, including this one. Best case scenario is here for 8 beyond this season, and you feel really good about it, and he's locked up here throughout his prime of his NHL career. Great. The money is the devil's in the details, as is always the case. You still have to get Dylan Holloway re-signed long-term. I think people would probably like to see Jake Neighbors re-signed long-term here in St. Louis. You have in 2028, Kyrou, Thomas, and Booch, all with no trade clauses, signed for $8 to $8.5 million per year. Parayko's at $6.5. Cam Fowler's at $6 million that year. I think some are going to want either Bennington or Hofer to be re-signed at that point in time. There's just only so much money to go around. So even with, and they need to sign others. They need to go out and add to this core. So, yes, the cap is rising, but starting next season, next year, the Blues, as of today, have $20 million in cap space. They have not re-signed Dylan Holloway. They have not re-signed Philip Broberg. If Broberg gets 10.5, you're down to about $10 million to spend. If you end up with a $7-ish million salary for Dylan Holloway, you're down to $3 million to spend on your team next year. So yes, cap's going up. Gets tight. Gets tight when you have a $10 million player on the books, which is something the Blues have not had yet.
Yeah. Well, and you know, you're at the position then, do they decide to move on from Justin Falk, who's the modified? Do they decide to move on from Braden Shen, who's at the mod? Like, you make that money work, but like, you lock up the core. And look, Broberg, I don't know what Holloway's is going to look like, because I'm sure they'll have arguments of it's been a little inconsistent. But to me, Broberg, for 2 years now since he's been here, it's not 2 full years, but 2 full seasons, hopefully, he has been the most consistent player night in and night out. And you got to pay to keep those guys around. And I think you build the structure of your cap around that $10.5 million and then go on from there.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service X line. Get involved in the show. Coming up next, in or out here on BK and Ferrario.
Freezing cold temperature is here, which means that furnace is going into overdrive, which means you need to find the company that's there to take care of you and your family, and that is Classic Air Care. Somebody that's been around making people comfortable since 1926, and somebody that I've trusted with our HVAC system for the last 10 years. Been using them since I purchased my first home back in 2016, and it comes with the customer service that they provide, the knowledge of the technicians that are there, and honestly, the help that they have provided with a couple of issues that have popped up for these older units. And you only have a little bit time left to take advantage of a deal that they're offering, to where if you buy a new HVAC system, which the wintertime is usually the best time to do it because you get discounts in certain areas, but if you purchase it between now and December 5th, you get the free water heater thrown in with Classic Air Care if you purchase that HVAC system. They've got financing options available for you. And if it's not the HVAC system you're looking to upgrade, well, maybe it's just maintaining it, and you could check out their maintenance agreement that they have. Everything is online at classicaircare.com. Do me a favor, tell them Alex Ferrario sent you. Classic Air Care and classicaircare.com.
314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line for in or out. You guys give us a scenario. We will tell you if we are in or out here on BK and Ferrario. Alex, let's start out with this. In or out, the Cardinals should have signed Ryan Helsley to the 2-year, $28 million deal with an opt-out after that first season that he got with the Orioles and converted him into a starting pitcher.
Out. I wouldn't have. I get the opt-out is there, but, man, $14 million for 1 year, and I get it's a 1-year deal. You can opt out of it, but I just don't think I think it's going to be unsuccessful as a starting pitcher, and I don't believe he gets back to the same form that he was a few years ago, which means the trade value isn't there. And why are you signing him for the Cardinals? To trade him potentially, so out.
Yeah, I'm out as well. I don't think the contract is bad in itself because it is kind of a 1-year deal, kind of. I don't think you needed to bring back the Ryan Helsley experience. You know, I'm a little worried he's not going to bounce back. You know, I know they seem to, or at least he's selling the idea of it's all about pitch tipping. I don't know, his fastball was getting hit pretty hard when he was here too. So I would not have done that deal if I'm the Cardinals, so I'm out.
I'm out as well because I think there are other starters that I'd prefer, instead of having to go through this kind of a project with somebody like Ryan Helsley. I do want them to bet on upside, though, and I think there is some upside with Ryan Helsley. I'm a little surprised you didn't explore this more, especially if this was the deal that he was going to take. I wanted to see him in Detroit where they were going to convert him into being a starting pitcher. I would have loved to have seen it at the Major League level. Alex, what do you got for us today?
Guys, in or out, when the Kansas City Chiefs miss the playoffs, I said win, they make significant roster changes this offseason.
And they have to. I mean, if you miss the playoffs in Patrick Mahomes' prime, we've talked about how he's chasing ghosts. He's chasing Tom Brady. That's the only legacy that's out there for him to aspire to, right? Brady never did this. Once Brady got to his prime, he never missed the playoffs. There was 1 year that he did, and he missed almost the entire season with the knee injury. So that was the year that Matt Castle was the quarterback for the Patriots. When he was in his prime, he always got there. Didn't always get to the Super Bowl, but always got to the postseason. Yeah, sure, you can have these disclaimers of, yeah, but the AFC West is better than the AFC East ever was. Sure, miss me with that. You got Patrick Mahomes in his prime. You got to make the playoffs. And if they fail to do so, yeah, you better overhaul this roster.
Where do you go? You go defense or do you go offensive
probably
line?
Have to trade Trent McDuffie.
Wow.
Because you've got to get assets in return. You've got to try to continue to accumulate the. I was thinking about this the other day, Alex. I think the Bills have arrived in this place. I think the Ravens have arrived in this place. It's really hard to sustain that success at the top now that we're in the rookie wage scale. And you've got these teams that are able to build around the rookie level quarterbacks. So they've got the quarterback making nothing and they're able to pay for all the positions around them. So when you're the Ravens, the Chiefs, or the Bills, you've paid your quarterback, you're getting late draft picks. It's really hard to add blue chip talent to your roster. The Chiefs basically skipped one of those cycles because of the Tyreek Hill trade, where they were able to replenish their youth with extra talent because they traded Tyreek Hill to the Dolphins. They haven't done another move like that since, and then they paid Chris Jones to keep him there. They had to. It's the move you have to make. But because they made that move, they haven't done the churn of the roster the way that they did for the Tyreek Hill trade 5 years ago almost now. This is what it's going to look like. So they're going to have to probably make another one of those moves. My guess is Trent McDuffie is the guy that gets moved in order to do that. That's a step back at corner, but
defense is already struggling, and you get rid of one of your best defensemen out there.
No doubt.
Yeah, I would say, and you have to do it. I think you're right. Oh, and if you're looking at teams that like end up replacing their blue chip talent with blue chip talent like this, you end up like the Rams, where you end up hitting on a pick. Like
Correct.
You think like Puka, he's the guy that replaced Cooper Kupp from when he was in his prime. They drafted Puka in the 5th round.
Look at their defensive line, though. That's even like to me, the more one-for-one replacement. You look at what the Rams were able to do. Aaron Donald retires. They got lucky. They really good scouting, and they got lucky. They they went after defensive linemen. They hit on one in the first draft before Donald retired. Then the next year went out and got a defensive end and a defensive tackle, both from Florida State. We laughed at them at the time. They're awesome.
Yeah.
And they've completely overhauled the defensive line because of it.
Yeah. Guys, before I give you my in or out, a little trivia question. Who leads the Blues in power play goals right now?
Is it Dvorsky?
Justin Falk.
It's Dvorsky with 3.
Oh, is it really? I thought Falk was.
He's got 2.
He's got
so
2?
He's right there with him.
Wow.
So, in or out, guys, Dalibor Dvorsky will lead the Blues in power play goals this season.
Ooh, I would have said Snuggerud potentially.
I'll say in. I think Dvorsky's goal totals are going to start rising at some point. He's hit a wall in terms of points, but he's getting the chances. And I know that doesn't mean a lot to people, but we were saying the same thing about Dylan Holloway. We were saying it about Pavel Buchnevich. Dvorsky's goals are going to start coming, and the power play is where he's most dominant. It's that one-timer. So I'm gonna say in on this one.
I would say in as well, because I think he's got the best shot on your power
So I'm
play.
the top unit again this
And like
evening.
I like Snuggerud because he would have been the guy early on in the year. I would have thought that. He almost has to dust the puck off a little bit before he lets it go. He is more of a Vladdy sniper than he is the one-time shot. Dvorsky's the one-timer they've been looking for.
And sometimes those one-timers, like, you have to get the perfect pass.
Yeah.
So, like, Snuggerud's got the one-timer. He's got the wrist shot as well. But sometimes it's just the pass isn't correctly on his stick. So I think it's going to come for both of them. Projecting forward, the two flanks on a power play are going to be Snuggerud and Dvorsky with two one-time threats. Robert Thomas is going to be the distributor, but I still think it's going to come.
I'm in on this as well. By the way, quick update. We said earlier we don't know who Penn State's going to hire. According to a report from footballscoop.com, they've got really good sources in the college football coaching landscape. Penn State talks with BYU's head coach are heating up. Another coach that could potentially leave his team as a potential playoff team.
Isn't he an alum of BYU? That's why that would be surprising to me. Because that's what maybe I'm wrong. I thought he was.
I can look that up real quick. He is an alum. Yep. He played there from 97 to 2000. And then was a GA there. Spent most of his coaching career in Utah. And this would be his first real opportunity outside of the state. So
A little surprising.
yeah, he's a hell of a coach, man. He's
I agree with
really
that.
good football coach. It's an interesting fit. Oh, interesting. He went to high school in Kirkwood. Didn't know that.
Kirkwood Moe?
Yeah.
Bet he's friends with the Joe Vitale.
So
Probably.
Joey knows everybody from
he's
Kirkwood.
50 years old. Potentially the next head coach at Penn State
Joe,
University.
text him and see if he's going to Penn State.
Joe,
right.
get us that insight.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line for in or out. You guys give us a scenario. We will tell you if we are in or out here on BK and Ferrario. By the way, it's
Out on this weather.
This is absurd.
God. I
Did
wish
you guys know it was supposed to get this bad?
I knew it was supposed to get bad, but they said it was supposed to be Monday evening overnight. And so that's why, if I would have known it was this, I'd have told Katie not to send the girls to school and just keep them at home.
Yeah, I had no idea. This is
I
crazy.
should have known when Steve put his sleeves up.
Rolled them up this afternoon, or this morning.
And then
All
he
right.
went 2 to 4. I'm like, what?
Damn
Let's
it,
get to these
Steve.
from the text line. Just stay tuned here. Be super safe. I just looked up how long it's supposed to take me to get home. It's supposed to be like an hour.
I think your homeboy's going to be broadcasting from the network studios tonight on the Blues
Yeah, you're
broadcast.
just stay with him.
You guys want to do lunch together today?
Going to the fitness center. If I'm here all night, might as well hang out here.
Man,
Want to go get
this is brutal.
swole?
I should have brought my workout stuff because then at least I could have done something with my time instead of doing this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always get swole. Always choose swole.
From the 314, guys, based on
take a
reports
nap.
by Elliot Friedman
You
this
ain't
morning, the
getting home.
Blues are expected to make a trade before the winter roster freeze. In or out, they make a trade soon.
Is that what Friedman reported?
I didn't see this.
It might have been on the 32 Thoughts, and I didn't listen to it this morning.
Yeah, I read his piece from last
Slacker.
week. I didn't hear his
God, Ferrario, you stink.
podcast this morning. I normally wait for you to tell us what happened.
I didn't get a chance to go through it all this today. I was a little busy. I wasn't busy.
Doug Armstrong's aggressive work in St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm gonna say in on
Play
this.
from your phone right now.
Yeah,
Just turn it
it's
into
about 2 minutes. So.
Oh, never mind.
So
never
here
mind.
was
Too
my
long.
this is why what they've done and what they could do tonight throws a wrench into this. Jim Montgomery talked earlier on that road trip about December 1st being the time you knew what your team was. And I thought that if they lose the next 3 games at home, or if they lose 2 of the 3, Doug Armstrong's going to make a move in those 2 days off before the road trip. Then they go out and beat Ottawa and Utah and potentially Anaheim. So what do? He's not just going to fall for a couple of wins in a row. He's not going to fall for a couple of games that's played well. If a trade presents itself that betters the team for now and moving forward, I do think he makes a trade. And I think I saw a couple of others put out there that a lot of teams are going to make moves before the Olympic rosters get finalized because those players want to be where they're going to be when they get
That's
back from the
interesting. I hadn't
Olympics.
thought about that. Yeah.
So I think between now and that roster freeze, which is like a couple of days before the Christmas break, I do think you're going to see a trade because I also wonder if other teams are trying to get antsy and Doug Armstrong just makes the move.
I'm out just because of the timing. It just seems so early. But maybe. If anybody could do it, it's him.
Dude, I'll tell you the one that I'm fascinated by is Dallas with Jason Robertson, because he has been their best player on the ice, and I know you can't move them because he's the piece that can help you win a Stanley Cup, but he's a free agent after this year, and you're going to get paid, and we all know the rumors that were there earlier, and they can't afford to re-sign him. He's the one that I'm fascinated by.
I'm out. I don't think he's making a move this year.
314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. From the 314, don't go anywhere. It's a mess out here.
I know. I think I'm just going to have to.
From the 314, guys, I'm a UPS driver. I'm on the other side of Olive from you. Be safe. It's bad.
Ferrario
Guys, be safe. My work released us, and they never do that.
Hey, if you guys want to stick around all night, just all three of us do the Blues game. Just like old times. No, it's not going to get better, Brandon.
My nose is a little runny. I don't think I want to.
What I was going to say is, do you think it's better to wait and then go after they've maybe treated the roads a little more?
Yeah.
Or is it better to go right after our show comes to a conclusion?
I would wait even after our show comes to a conclusion. I think like 4 or 5 o'clock is probably going to be better when people are going to be doing this for the next few hours trying to get home.
Cool.
I mean, the problem right now is
I've got to get home to relieve my wife from parenting duties.
the problem, and Grant's on his way up here. He's even told us that he's gotten stuck on the road. The problem is everyone's getting stuck, so MoDOT can't treat because everybody's on the road. So it's going to be a while.
From Edmund's text ringtone, it's 2 to 4 inches. When did we get so damn soft? Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it right now. It doesn't look great.
I don't know if it's soft, more that I don't want to get into a car accident and put anybody's life in jeopardy.
44 is a parking lot. I was behind a plow. That just made it even worse.
You got plowed?
Oh, wow.
Stuck in gridlock right now in a 30-foot freezer on wheels. Sucks.
You're on a
Do
freezer.
not leave. Highways are a parking lot.
BK is he's got anxiety right now, like the airplanes falling out of the sky anxiety. He's not sure what.
Somebody just sent us a picture of their windshield. Can't even see out of this thing. Been driving home for over an hour. Haven't seen one plow, no salt trucks. Most of the highway is a parking lot. It's slick. It's frozen. It's very dangerous.
Just want to come stay at my place tonight.
I feel awful.
I'm 10 minutes away.
My wife
I'm out in this right now. Guys, it's bad.
Oh, man. My wife is picking up our girls.
Open the Apple map on your phone.
I already did. It's red.
61 is a gridlock. All right, let's check the app.
Oh, now it's telling me it'll take me an hour and a half to get to the Enterprise Center tonight.
Yeah, to get home for me, going across to St. Charles, 55 minutes. Oh, but if I go 70 to 270 to 70, an hour and 10 minutes.
It's going to take me an hour.
Commute is typically 18 minutes. T-Bone's freaking out because we're off clock.
No, I need to blow my nose.
I don't think the clocks matter right now.
I saw him panicking, but I didn't know it was for.
I don't think the clocks matter anymore, guys.
Yeah, no, man. Everybody's listening.
I'm battling sickness and you're just talking about the
going
snow.
up. I mean, nobody's at work right now.
Our rating should be huge.
And nobody's getting out of your car, so you're stuck with us.
Here's the real question. How many of the fast lane guys get in here?
Well, Jamie's here. I saw him for sure.
Oh, Rivs is hanging out tonight.
Jamie's working the board. It's going to be T-Bone and Jamie from 2 to 6.
Yeah. Best fast lane you can have.
Stalter's coming from my neck of the woods, so.
Oh, poor Stoltz.
Coming up in 15 minutes, we'll dive into the junk drawer. But next, how would you assess the 2025 Mizzou and Illinois seasons? We'll get to it next year on 101 ESPN.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now, you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. I'll be getting in on the action tonight. I'll be placing some parlays down on the Blues game and Monday Night Football. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. So download that DraftKings Sportsbook app and use my code TANNER. That's code TANNER as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TANNER. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Tanner Hendrickson here with the Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Earlier today, the St. Louis Blues announced that Jimmy Snuggerud will undergo surgery on his left wrist, and Alexei Toropchenko is week to week after sustaining burns to his legs in a home accident. And the Blues will be returning back to action tonight as they will be hosting the Anaheim Ducks. We'll have pregame coverage tonight, starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario. Puck drop at 7 o'clock with Chris Gerber and Joey Vitale. The Sports Update was driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at Londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Eli Drinkwitz was asked after the game on Saturday how he viewed the 2025 season. He said, quote, "I would tell you I think it's a good season. It's not great. We had a chance to do great. We didn't get it done. As a team, as an organization, as everybody, we've got to find those inches," end quote. I agree with that sentiment. I think it was a pretty good season. Now, this is not necessarily what I anticipated going in. I didn't know what to think of this team. Didn't know what they had a quarterback. The offensive line was a question mark. They had a ton of talent on defense, and we thought, hey, they've got a chance to be special if the offense comes together. But they were replacing so much production on the offensive side of the ball, it was unknowable. And anybody that claimed otherwise was lying to you. They did technically go over their win total, by the way. So that's 7.5 this year. They ended up at 8. So was it a great season, the ceiling year that we were all hoping for? No. But it was pretty good. If your down seasons are 8-4 in the SEC with a loss against Vanderbilt where you were an inch away from having an opportunity to win it on a 2-point conversion, and you were a couple of plays away from beating Alabama, who's now going into the college football playoff, it's a pretty good season, man. Pretty darn good season, in my opinion. Do you guys agree with his classification?
I do. I think he nails it here. I can't say it's great because it's a step backwards from what they were in terms of a 10-plus win season. And if they win the Bowl, they're at 9 wins. But it's still a good season. Like, to me, a bad season or a failure of a season would be if you won 6 games. Like, that's a massive underperformance. But I also look at these games, and I know close games don't matter, but you mentioned the inches away against Vanderbilt. We're talking about the Alabama one to where you were there. It's just you got outplayed by the quarterback. I think they had an elite defense this season that kept them in every single football game. No football game got away from Mizzou to where it felt
outside of Texas A&M. That one did. But
A&M did, but it was close early, and then obviously in the Zoller situation you were in, there was no chance of you doing much with it. But I can't sit here and act as if it's great because I was expecting double-digit wins, especially for how easy the schedule looked, and I thought they got the quarterback. But look, 8 wins, if that's a bad year, better than what it's been.
it's pretty impressive to win 8 games without being able to throw a forward pass. And ultimately, that's where they were by the end of the season, man. Like, you look back at that game against Mississippi State, they barely threw the football. Against Texas A&M, they couldn't throw the football. Against Arkansas this week, they chose not to throw the football. They had 25 passing yards in that game. I think they threw it like 5 times. There's no reason to. It was terrible weather. You ran the ball like crazy. You went for like 300 on the ground against Arkansas. Against Mississippi State and Arkansas, the final 2 wins of the regular season, the game plan was very simple. You can't stop us. We're going to keep running it down your throat until you do. And they never did. So the fact that they were capable of doing that speaks to how good some of the other elements of this team were. They were just lacking the passing game. And when you look across the SEC, the teams that are able to make that jump, they either are blue blood programs who are always just the elite talent can carry you to a certain degree, or they added the passing element. Like Vanderbilt, they took that step, even though they're potentially probably going to miss the playoff this year. They took that step to 10 wins because they had Diego Pavia, who's up there for Heisman contention. Alabama took that step this season because Ty Simpson is in the Heisman conversation. Same thing for Texas A&M with their quarterback. Mateer really struggled down the stretch, but prior to the injury was one of those guys as well. So I would say it was a good season, but not great, and it's because of the passing game. The passing game, taking it to the next level, would be the way that you get to that grade. T-Bone, on the Illinois side of things, how would you classify this season?
It's funny because, like, you look at them.
Because they finished 8-4. Same record as Mizzou, a mirror image of Mizzou's season in a lot of ways. They just lost worse against the best teams that they played against.
Yeah, I would say it was a failure for the Illinois season. And I think it would be fair to call it disappointing for most fans when they ended up missing the playoff. And if they would have went 9-3 and then would have said, hey, I was a little too harsh by saying it a failure for missing the playoff, I don't think you could classify it any other way, because the thing that they didn't do that Missouri did was, yes, they lost 4 games, but they lost 2 games that were very winnable. Like that Washington game, they are a good football team. That was a winnable football game. And then Wisconsin's just inexcusable. You cannot lose to Wisconsin, who did not make a bowl game and has been talking about firing their coach all season long. And that's the thing Missouri avoided doing. Like, you look at all their wins, every win in the SEC they has a team that's not going bowling. That's what you're supposed to do, though, right? That's the typical Kentucky thing. You beat all the bad teams, and you hope you're able to flip one of those 50-50 games. Missouri this year couldn't, but they were able to take care of business.
Like the 4 losses that you have on your resume, Bama's making it to the playoff. Texas A&M is making it to the playoff.
Yep.
Oklahoma's making it to the playoff. Vandy's their 1 loss this season against a non-playoff team, and there's still a chance that they could get in. It's unlikely, but a chance that they could get in. And in most seasons, they would have been able to get in because they went 10-2 in the SEC. And if I had told you in the preseason, there is a team that will go 10-2 this season in the SEC, do they make it to the playoff? I would have said, I don't have to know any other information. The answer is yes. If you win double-digit games in this conference, you're getting in. They found a way not to do it somehow. But, like, that's pretty damn good, man. You beat all the teams you were supposed to. You were really close against, I would say, 2 of the playoff teams that were, or close to playoff teams that were on your schedule. 4 losses were against top 15 opponents. It's tough. It's life. You're not a top 15 team, but you're somewhere in that like 16 to 25 range. If you're a Mizzou fan and I told you your down seasons, you're going to fall somewhere in that 16 to 25 range, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Illinois lost a bad team.
Yeah, still a failure.
And the part that's even worse for Illinois is they won one of those 50-50 games. They beat USC at home, who's a pretty good football team that went 9-3. But they didn't show up for 2 of them. They go on the road to Washington, and their offense was okay in that game. Their defense didn't show up. They gave up 42 points to Washington. And then you look at that Wisconsin. I have no idea what the hell that was in Wisconsin. Your defense didn't play well. They gave up 27 points. Your offense did nothing. They didn't protect Altmaier at all, and you scored 10 points against that Wisconsin team. Like, yeah, the season was a failure. And that's kind of tough to say because I think 16 wins is the most in 2 years in the program history.
It's amazing.
And yet they failed this year because they didn't show up against two teams they should have beaten.
Did you say it's a top 10 failure in college football?
No, I'd say top 11.
Oh,
top
geez,
11.
get the hell out of here. 7th and the worst.
So we got our first updated round of bowl projections.
Oh, we can move on.
Mizzou's going to be in one of the group of 6 bowls. It's like the Texas Bowl, the ReliaQuest, which is in Tampa, Gator Bowl, I think, is in Jacksonville, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, Music City, and I think the other one is the Liberty Bowl in Memphis. Those are the group of 6 options that Mizzou could be eligible for this year in the SEC. Each one of those has a different pairing, conference-wise, whatever. The Music City Bowl appears to be one of the most likely for Mizzou. That is against a Big Ten opponent. Now, the Duke's Mayo Bowl, ESPN has them in against Duke, ironically enough. That one's in Carolina. That'd be fun. I would love to see Eli Drinkwitz. They dump the mayo on him. That'd be fun.
You would not like to see that.
I think it'd be fun.
Throw some onions on him.
Drink should be calling Penn State. Get me out of my new contract. I don't want to coach this bowl.
I don't want to go to the Mayo Bowl.
I like the 2 projections for the Illinois Bowl. I know T-Bone doesn't care about these, but ReliaQuest versus Vandy, I think that'd be fun. Or Las Vegas versus Utah. Going to Vegas would be cool. Las Vegas Bowl against Utah, that's fun.
Would you guys the Utah team?
Would you guys be interested in a Music City Bowl between Mizzou and Illinois?
I mean,
I would. I think that'd be awesome. They pushed the game back. I think it starts in 27 now instead of starting the series next year.
I think there's intrigue with Mizzou
they
and
don't
Illinois.
have the immediacy of them playing again next season. I'd be interested in this. I think it'd be great.
I mean, it's Mizzou and Illinois, so I'd watch that no matter what. The bowl games I don't care about anymore.
Sure, but if you don't
I
care
ask you
about
this because I think this is why we think of bowl games not mattering. Because I can tell you, nobody from Illinois is opting out. Who's opting out for Missouri? Because they've got a couple guys that are first-round pick potential, so I would think some guys might be out.
Maybe Zion Young. I would probably tell him to opt out. Maybe Damon Wilson, other defensive end. Maybe Josiah Trotter. He's probably a top 50 pick in this year's class.
What about Pride?
No. He needs film. I think that's probably it. Those are probably the guys.
None of your running backs opt out?
Pieces,
No,
Hardy's going to be back next year.
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be in college football.
Well, yeah, that's what I meant.
Wait, Drake can't keep his own guys?
No, I truly just don't know on anybody. Everybody's a free agent, so I'm just not willing to say anybody's going to be back.
That's what I meant, though. Is he has to be in college.
Purvula might, maybe he transfers. I have no idea, but
and that's where
the other thing is the transfer portal might be a bigger deal for the opt-outs this year than the NFL draft.
And that's where you asked me the question. Typically, the reason I say I'm not going to watch the bowl game is because I just know things are changing. Right, like either Illinois, in years past, Illinois' best player would sit out, or Missouri's best player would sit out, or they've transferred. Until I know what the rosters look like, right now, in theory, yes, Illinois, Missouri would be exciting. To watch us kick BK's team's butt would be awesome.
That's not going to happen.
The problem is, though, I know we're not going to see the actual teams when they go there.
Well,
there could be defensive players that opt out. We're going to be bringing all of our guys. I'm more concerned about who's opting out for Missouri, and that's where I would lose my interest.
But so you said who cares about the bowl game?
Mm-hmm.
Fair. I think there are a lot of people that view it that way. Who cares about the bowl game? But if I acknowledge that and I concede that argument, none of this matters. It's all just made up. It's a game that they put on television that's exhibition only, and it's just to make everybody a bunch of money. That's what all of this is for. I acknowledge that. You have to play somebody. These games are going to be played. Missouri will participate in one. Illinois will participate in one, so they're going to be played. So let's try to make them interesting, or at least as interesting as humanly possible. And the idea of Mizzou and Illinois in the same calendar week playing in the Braggin rights game in St. Louis for basketball, and then later that week meeting up again in a neutral site game in Nashville for the final game of the regular season for football, I think it'd be a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh, I agree with you there.
And so I agree. No matter who Mizzou plays, these Music City versus Nebraska, Duke's Mayo versus Duke, whatever, fine. I'll watch it, whatever it ends up being. I'll enjoy seeing one final time of this Mizzou team play. No matter who they play, I'll put it on in the background. Mizzou versus Illinois would add a little more juice to the game for me. Is it the end of it's the greatest thing that we see? No, of course. Most of these games suck.
Well, Illinois does too.
It'd be fun. I would enjoy that week of giving T-Bone some crap.
Yeah.
having the basketball game followed up by the football game,
You're
that'd be
going to need
great.
something
Yeah,
to
I was going to say,
about.
I guess you'll have your bragging for at least the football side of it.
Maybe.
Or either.
I don't know. T-Bone's starting to check out on his basketball team. That's a story for another day. But yeah,
I think it'd be cool.
That's
I think
the
this
only
would be
matchup.
the ideal scenario, and I think it's honestly the case for both teams. As long as Illinois, I think, has the potential to get a slightly better bowl than
They've
Mizzou
got a chance to get like Vandy.
yeah, and the SEC just has more teams ahead of Mizzou in the pecking order than the Big Ten with Illinois. Even though the seasons for the two teams were remarkably similar, what that means for you in your respective conferences is quite different, and where that puts you in the pecking order of choosing where you get to go. So if they decide, hey, we want to play in Florida, we want our kids to have an opportunity to go play in Jacksonville or play in Tampa instead of going to Nashville where it's going to be 30 degrees, yeah, I totally understand that. But I hope both teams would be agreeable to playing in this game.
if there was a bowl game that I would at least watch, it would be Mizzou versus Illinois. Otherwise,
And the fact that it's in Nashville, it's drivable for both fan bases. I think it'd be a great spot, a great landing place for both teams.
Now, the players aren't going to like playing in the cold, but that's fine.
Nashville's cool, though. At least you can have some fun there.
Yeah.
After the game, his focus is on the bowl game
Yeah,
first.
seriously.
Coming up in 15 minutes, would you be interested in
I want
giving this
Vandy.
Donovan extension? We'll get into that coming up here just a little bit. Junk Tourist next here on 101 ESPN.
Grant Francis with you, and BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sports fans in Missouri can sign up now for BetMGM and get up to $1,500 paid back in bonus bets if their first bet loses. Enjoy a betting app that was designed for game day with features like live bets, same game parlays, BetMGM rewards points, and surprise boosts dropping in your account all throughout the season. It's everything a sports fan could want in one app. BetMGM is now available in Missouri. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only, Missouri only. New customer offer subject to eligibility requirements and minimum deposit of $10. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. It's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. It's time to dive into the junk drawer. Alex, how did the Thanksgiving holiday go with the girls?
You know, it wasn't crazy, which is nice. Katie's parents are divorced, and so we have multiple Thanksgivings we typically do, like all holidays. But, you know, we decided this last couple of years where it's like we need to spread this out a little bit more. So they did their Thanksgiving the Saturday prior with her mom's side while I was in the middle of a Blues game, and then we did her dad's side in the morning and then my family in the evening. And my gosh, it was so much easier to just be hunkered down at home for the evening, let the girls spend time with their cousins and family and not have to rush around. Because that's just the part. It's just not fair to the kids to load them on the car, here for 2 hours,
tough,
go to the
man.
next one, 2 hours. So luckily Thanksgiving was great. You know, we did kind of our own thing in terms of we cooked ravioli, made homemade ravioli. I did a turkey and we had everything ready. So we ate, we watched football, we played cards like we typically do. So it was an awesome evening with the family. And luckily we didn't have to leave the house that much.
We had a busy weekend. We did Thanksgiving with Kara's family on Thursday, and then Black Friday, woke up, got straight on the road, went out to Kansas City. One of my best friends growing up, his niece got married over the weekend on Saturday, so we went to her wedding with Luca, and then one of my best friends, his son is almost a year old, so they got to hang out at the wedding, which was awesome. Luca got to hang out with him, and we got to meet one of my other best friends from high school. They just had a baby girl about a month ago. So we got to meet their baby, Viv, while we were out there as well. And then got to see my dad yesterday, got to see my mom yesterday. So it was great. So he got to see his pop, his nana, grandma and grandpa all on the same day, which was fantastic. He, as we were leaving Thanksgiving, said, I love Thanksgiving. So big Thanksgiving guy. And while we were out in Kansas City, we stayed at my dad's house in Overland Park. My dad's a big truck guy. He's got a Jeep. He does all of the off-roading. My dad is like the antithesis of me. He's a true man's man in every possible way.
Hey,
he does like,
don't be so hard on yourself.
Yeah, I know.
You
it's
fixed
like
a water
manual
pipe.
labor. He flips houses for a living. Like, he does all of that stuff, and then I'm here. I'm soy boy.
Hey, you fixed the water pipe.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, you damaged the water
No, I
pipe.
think he's describing it all well.
I drilled into the water pipe. He fixed the water pipe.
Soy boy.
Worked out well. So he had at his house a Mini Cooper. You guys might have some of these for the girls. A Mini Cooper car.
Oh, yeah,
ready
we
to
have a
go
little
for
Disney
Luca.
one.
He's driving this thing around the house and just zooming around these corners. I'm like, we're going to break everything in this house.
Nice.
It's definitely coming. Somehow, he broke nothing. As I'm walking through the house, though, I, hit up against something, and boom, came crashing down this big old pumpkin, the ceramic pumpkin.
And you rolled Luca by it and you said, damn it, Luca!
So I found a way, while walking, doing nothing else, nothing of interest,
found a way.
walking, found a way to screw up their ceramic pumpkin. Meanwhile, Luca driving around the house at 5 miles an hour for the entire weekend.
Those kids are so funny on those because Adelaide's got like a Disney princess car. It's like a Jeep style. And so, you know, when it's nice out, we got a little cul-de-sac that she'll go out there and she'll just drive around in. Never seen a kid just gas it no matter what. Now those things don't go fast, but she'll just sit there and go in circles for hours.
That's what Luca was doing.
Just go in circles. I get dizzy watching her.
Yeah, it was the best. So I don't know how, but we found a way to say, hey, we're leaving this here. It's going to stay with Pop. When we
Dude,
go
that's
see
a
Pop,
win.
you get to come hang out and you get to play with the car. And when we go home, we'll play hockey.
That's a win right there.
Coming up in 15 minutes, what are you rooting for with this year's college football playoff? Do you want chaos? Do you want to see 2 group of 5 teams get in, which is technically a possibility? Are you rooting for chalk? What are you rooting for? We'll get into that coming up here in about 15 minutes. But next, you interested in this Brendan Donovan contract extension possibility? We'll talk about it next here on 101 ESPN. Alongside Alex and T-Bone, I'm BK. Be safe out there. Looks like the roads are starting to move a little more freely. We're just looking out at Olive, so I don't know what the highways are like right now, but
My wife's playing traffic.
My
right
wife's
now.
ghosted me for the last hour, so I hope she's safe.
do you have locations for each other?
No, I need to put those on our phones.
Yeah, I'm looking at a map of St. Louis right now.
A lot of red.
Here, I'll just go ahead and post this on the
Well, now it's
YouTube.
telling me in an hour and a half to get to Enterprise
This is
Center.
what St. Louis currently looks like.
Oh.
It's just red.
Oh, good.
Just
Good,
everywhere.
Good.
Just everywhere is red. So, yeah, that's what it looks like around here. So to get home for me, which is out in the St. Charles area, let's go ahead and take a look. Hour and 5 minutes. Normally 18. So be safe. Give everybody a little bit
Wild
of
part
grace.
is, I love driving
Get
in this
home
weather.
safely.
Just not right now when other people are out there.
I don't love driving in this weather. I don't mind snow, but once it starts getting icy,
Well, and the good
least
news
right
is,
now-
like,
that's the other
yeah,
part,
the
yeah.
icy's not there is because it didn't rain yesterday, and like that's at least the good part that it looks like it's just snow.
'Cause it's sloshing up a little bit. I don't know.
The part that sucks is when the road is just snow.
Yeah, I would take the you don't want slush either. Like when it's snow, you could handle it, but the problem is when it gets packed down or when it gets icy like that. But regardless, this sucks.
It's not good. It's not good. So be safe out there. Everybody's going slow. Everybody's taking forever to get home. It's all a bummer, and everybody's trying to get out of there. So
Make it home safe.
yes,
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. And once you get there,
Don't leave.
turn on 101 ESPN. Put us on YouTube, youtube.com/101 ESPN STL. We'll try to keep you a little company, especially if you had to go home like my wife did. Alex's wife doing the same thing right now. Get the little kiddos. They're probably running around being crazy right now. Just put us on in the background. Give you a little bit of normalcy back in your home. All right. 314-399-9646. That's the Air Comfort Service text line to get involved in the show. I was reading over on the Redbird Rants website. I like their work. I think they do some really good stuff. Josh Jacobs posted this the other day. What would a fair extension look like for Brendan Donovan? Good piece. Went through some comparables, explained kind of where he's at, what kind of value he has in the marketplace. He came to the conclusion, and this is one man's opinion. This is not written in stone, but based upon what he believes the market to be for somebody like Brendan Donovan, an extension could look something similar to a 5-year deal worth $83 million. It's about $16.5 per year. Feels right to me. I think somewhere in that range feels about right for somebody like Brendan Donovan. That's not all that dissimilar from like Tommy Edmonds' deal, what he got from the LA Dodgers. Alex, the decision this offseason, in my opinion, for Donnie is basically trade him or extend him. I'm not sure there's a scenario where it would make sense for the Cardinals to keep him on his current contract. Is that a deal that would be enticing enough for you to keep him instead of dealing him?
Enticing, yes. I mean, he's $16 million, which I think he performs better than a $16 million player. He's consistent, and he's kind of a heartbeat for the team. I just don't know if my decision is to sign him to an extension. I think you need to deal Brendan Donovan. You've got a lot of infielders in your system. You've got J.J. Weatherholt, who's going to be coming up. It seems like they still want to figure out what to do with Nolan Gorman if they can't move him. And the value that you can get in return for Brendan Donovan might fit better in the timeline for Chaim Bloom than keeping him to a 5-year deal, because 2 years from now, what's Brendan Donovan look like at $16 million versus what you could get in return? And I saw Anthony Castrovins put a proposed deal out there that he came up with. It was a 3-way deal of Brendan Donovan getting traded to the Mariners, Nolan Arenado getting traded to the New York Mets, and the Cardinals would get the 30th overall prospect from the Mets, which is a pitcher, and the number 3 overall prospect, who's a right-handed.
You're talking about in their system.
In the system,
so not
yeah.
a top 100 prospect from both teams, but like
to that team.
just some random lottery ticket from the Mets and a really good prospect from the
It was a
Mariners.
lottery
borderline
ticket.
top 100 guy.
Yeah, he was a number 3 in the Mariner system, outfielder who was a right-handed hitter. That, to me, is a better deal for the Cardinals' projected future.
And I agree with that. I think when you
Made it.
I think when you're looking at Brendan Donovan, because you're going to be able to probably get a fringe top 100 prospect, to me, there's no way I'm signing him to a contract extension. I am trading him because you are in the midst of this rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it. You're in asset accumulation mode right now, and he's going to get you a good asset. They got a better asset than I was expecting in the Sonny Gray trade. They were able to do that. I expect they're going to be able to do that for Brendan Donovan, especially because there's a bidding war. And it's not like your typical trade market where it is, hey, it's only the teams that are in it when you get to the trade deadline, or, oh, that guy's making a lot of money. Okay, so it's like limited to 10 teams. Everybody in baseball can afford Brendan Donovan. So there is a huge market of teams that are looking to upgrade offensively and are looking for a left-handed bat to where you end up with just this huge bidding war to where you could probably end up with a top 100 prospect potentially in this trade. So that's why, to me, you have to move on from him.
If you liked the return for Sonny Gray, just imagine how much you're going to like the return for Brendan.
You're going to love it. It could change the trajectory of this timeline that Chaim Bloom is putting out there. Yeah. We were super pessimistic about it when it started, saying this might be 4 or 5 years. If you go out there and get a piece, whether it's an offensive piece or a pitching weapon, you could be talking about expediting this thing to maybe 2 years or 3.
Exactly. I love Brendan Donovan. He's my favorite player on this team. I think he's awesome. He's exactly who I would want to build around if I'm a contender, which is exactly why 29 other teams should be calling the Cardinals to acquire him. He's that good, and he's that valuable. But if he's that valuable to other teams, and you're in the spot that the Cardinals are in right now, I just think it makes more sense to trade him. This is not an unreasonable ask. 5 years, $83 million. It was 5 years, $75 for Tommy Edman. I think Brendan Donovan's a better player than Brendan Donovan. I think he's a more valuable player. He can play more positions. He has, in my opinion, at least a better skill set, higher on base percentage. I think it's going to age a little more gracefully than Tommy Edmonds as well. This is the guy that I would want. Also, he's a little more vocal. Like, just everything about him. I'm in on the player. But so is everybody else. And so with the value that you're going to be able to get back in return, the kind of pitching that you could potentially command for this guy, it's just too much for me to give up. If those offers weren't coming in and you find out, hey, actually Major League Baseball doesn't really value this guy, it's not happening. But if that was the case, sure, extend it. Cool. But I don't believe that to be the case. Everything that I've been hearing is the opposite. They are getting serious offers for Donnie, and people love the idea of acquiring Brendan Donovan. You got to deal him. You got to deal in this offseason, even though it sucks. It's not the position you want to be in, but that's where you are.
Could you do the point where you sign and trade? You sign him to the extension and trade him? Would that get you a better return?
No, it gets you less.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because right now, part of his value is any team in Major League Baseball.
You're not connected to him as long.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
You can afford
like
what
Pittsburgh
he is.
may not want
I
him
just
on
thought, like in hockey, that it's always a sweetener. It's like, hey, if you get him locked up to a long-term deal, you can.
My guess is if he gets traded, he'll extend with the team that he signs with, or that he is traded to.
And the difference in hockey is you get an advantage in the negotiation. You get an extra year. Here in baseball, there's no advantage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I think he'll probably re-sign wherever he goes, but is that something that is necessary? No. I actually think it makes it less valuable, not more valuable, because his contract is part of the value right now.
And if you're a team that ends up like Pirates, for example, if they make this trade and they suck, which they probably would, they can flip them again at the deadline.
Exactly. And then that team can trade him.
All right,
coming up in 15 minutes, how do we stack up the AFC without the Bills, Chiefs, or Ravens as legit contenders this year? Because it feels like none of them are. We'll get into that in 15 minutes. But next, what are you rooting for with this year's college football playoff? We'll give you our thoughts next year on 101 ESPN. Alex, the college football playoff is mostly set. Mostly. Not all the way, but we have a pretty good understanding of who most of these teams are going to be. The Big Ten's going to get Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon in. SEC is going to have Georgia, Texas A&M, Ole Miss, Oklahoma. You're going to get at least one group of 5 team. More on that here in just a moment. The expectation is an ACC team or another group of 5 team. But you'll have a champion for 2 more conferences that are into this year's playoff as well. So just the teams that I just mentioned, that's 9 teams that are almost assuredly going to be in. I think Texas Tech, we can say, is the 10th. Do you guys agree? They're in no matter what happens in the Big 12 championship game? Okay. So the odds are pretty high. There are 2 spots remaining. For Notre Dame, Bama, BYU, Miami, Vanderbilt, and Texas. So you're going to have a lot of people that are crying this week saying Texas should get in. I've already seen it. I'm sick of it before we have even really begun this process. Like, the college football playoff rankings will come out tomorrow. Texas is probably going to be ranked lower than some people want them to be. And they're going to come on and they're going to say, but look at their wins. They beat Oklahoma. How can you rank them behind them? They beat Vandy. They just beat Texas A&M. How could you have them out? 9-3. One of their only losses this year was on the road at Ohio State, one of the best teams in the country. How could they not get in? Because they lost to Florida. That's why. We don't have to make this harder than it is. They were one of 4 teams this year that lost to Florida. The others were Mississippi State, Long Island University,
Wow.
and Florida State.
All you needed to say was Long Island University.
That's it. Nobody else failed to clear that bar. The college football playoff, man, it is not as hard to get into as some people make it out to be. You got to beat the teams that you're supposed to and take care of business against like 2 others. If you do that, you're probably getting in. Texas failed to clear that bar. So they're out, in my opinion. But Alex, what are you rooting for? Like, there's chaos scenarios. You could technically, if Duke wins the ACC championship game, there is a scenario where we get 2 out of 3 of the group of 5 teams that are currently in contention. Like, you could get Tulane and James Madison, or James Madison and North Texas over Duke, who would be at that point the highest ranked ACC champion. So what are you rooting for? What do you want to see over the next week?
It's one word, and it's chaos. The one thing that I love about college football when we get to this time of the year are people complaining that their team should be in. And frankly, it's how we got to the expanded postseason. And I would imagine there's going to be a lot of people complaining about getting to 16 teams sooner rather than later after this playoff round. I just want chaos. I mean, you guys were texting about after the Duke win and what's going to happen on that front. And now we're wondering ACC, what happens on their end. James Madison getting in, Texas coming out. I've seen people complaining between Notre Dame and Miami as Notre Dame shouldn't be in because Miami should be in over them. I want chaos. That's what makes this time of the year so interesting and entertaining for me.
That's what I want as well. This year does not deserve to have chalk championship week. You know, I want to see Duke win the ACC title and us to see 2 group of 5 teams get into the playoff. I want to see BYU beat Texas Tech and throw the committee a curveball and see how the committee reacts, because I think Texas Tech is a lock no matter what. I don't know what the committee, though. I don't know how the committee will play that if BYU ends up winning the Big 10 or the Big 12 championship game. And if Alabama loses, that would mean Alabama's out if they lose in the SEC championship game, probably. So I'm all in on hoping for chaos. I want to see that happen. I really want to see 2 group of 5 teams get in, just because for as much as I hear the bickering between the Power 4 conferences, to watch one of them sit at home and not get anybody into the playoff would be a chef's kiss.
Somebody on the text line said, guys, Notre Dame lost last year to Northern Illinois. They still got in.
They went 11-1, didn't they?
It's their only loss.
Yeah.
They only won. If Texas only lost to Florida, and it was like, oh, just didn't show up.
But played well the rest of the way.
Dang, that was a rough one, huh? Yeah, they probably don't get a bye. Like, they would be punished for doing so, but they also lost their other big games for the most part. So, yeah, like, I'm sorry. They lost 3 games this year. You're done. It sucks that they had a really difficult schedule. That's a bummer, man. This is the schedule that you have to play. Like, Vanderbilt had a much easier schedule. And guess what? They're also going to be punished because they didn't take advantage enough of their easy schedule either. Because they had 2 opportunities to get a big win. They failed both times. They have no good wins on their resume. Their best win this year for Vandy is Missouri. That's it. So Vandy has the opposite problem of Texas, but Texas has a problem nonetheless as well. And those are the two spots from the SEC. This is what's going to lead us to the 16-team playoff. Is the SEC not getting these two teams in? Texas, who had a tough schedule. Vandy, who had the easy one, but won 10 games in the SEC. We're going to expand because of this. I'm with you, Alex. I would also say this. Like, some of these teams, I just don't need to see them. I don't need to see Virginia. I would rather see James Madison. I don't think they're going to do much, but I find it interesting.
Be a fun storyline.
Yeah, they're a more entertaining team right now.
I have no idea if James Madison's good. North Texas's offense is awesome, man. I don't know how much you guys have watched them this season. They are fun as hell. And I would love to see that against, like, Oklahoma. Can you imagine if North Texas went up against Oklahoma or something like that in the first round of the playoff? That'd be great theater. To see that defense against North Texas's offense, hell yeah, I'm in. So I would rather see that than some of these other, like, I don't need to see some of these teams at the back end of the top 12. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And by the way, on Texas, like everybody says, well, look at our wins, look at our wins. Can we talk about 3 of those wins real quick? Okay, you beat Kentucky in overtime, who missed a bowl game and just fired their head coach.
Yep.
Mississippi State, we saw how Mizzou took care of business, right? Didn't even have to throw a forward pass to beat them. They needed overtime to beat Mississippi State on the road, 45-38. And how about this? You guys know what UTEP did this year? The good old Miners of University of Texas El Paso. They went 2-10, so Texas probably blew them out, right? No, that was a football game. They won 27-10. Like, let's just be honest about what you are, Texas. You play 2 really good quarters in every game. Mm-hmm. You are not a playoff team. You know what a playoff team does? They play 4 really good quarters of football.
They're just not that good. They're just not. And they had ample opportunity to prove that they're more than what they were, but they never did it. Notre Dame versus Miami is the more interesting comparison to me. I watch those teams, and I think Notre Dame is better.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that Notre Dame is the better of the two. But the resumes are remarkably similar. Yeah. I mean, you look at the common opponents, look at everything, and they are remarkably similar in terms of the resumes.
And Miami got the win.
And Miami beat them head-to-head. And so I do have if you're a Miami fan, I get being frustrated. That's the one team that I think has a real case to be made that you have been done wrong in this whole scenario. Everybody else had every opportunity to go take care of business, and they didn't do it. You could say the same about Miami, sure, but they did take care of business head-to-head in the game that these two teams played, and they're still probably going to be left out. That one to me is, it would chat my ass if I'm a Miami fan and Notre Dame gets in above us.
Yeah, I have no issue with Miami being out. I mean, I just look at their 2 losses. Their 2 losses are not that good. You know, SMU is probably not a top 25 team, and that game was on the road. I get it. But if you're a playoff team, you should have beaten SMU. And I've seen the ACC, man. Like, the ACC is not a good football cup. Hell, Duke, we just talked about Duke. They have 5 losses. One of them is being to UConn, and they're in the ACC title game. If they're a playoff team, they needed to run the table in the ACC. And the Louisville loss doesn't look that good anymore either as well. That was a home loss by 3. I get it. They beat Notre Dame. They've got 2 worse losses. Notre Dame's 2 losses. Miami, who's top 15. And then the other one's A&M, who's a top 5 team.
And we've talked style points, too. I mean, Miami doesn't have the style points like Notre Dame does. Like, they smashed Arkansas, who I know isn't a good team, yet put 70 points up on Syracuse, which also I know isn't a good team. But, like, we talk about style points. You lose the first game of the season, which how many times have Alabama lost that first game of the season that they played, and it was an ugly one. And then they lose a 1-point game to Texas A&M, and then from there, they have just run the table and embarrassed every team they've gone up against.
You're right. And, like, I don't want to watch Miami anymore. I would much rather watch Notre Dame. And as I mentioned, I think when I watch these two teams, Notre Dame is the better of the two. But shouldn't head-to-head matter? Like, if you have the same record in any other sport that we watch, head-to-head becomes the first tiebreaker. And the resumes are pretty damn similar. They have the same record. They went up against a comparable strength of schedule. And we're not seemingly weighing that head-to-head very highly at all. I have a tough time with that one, man. I really do. I know it was week 1, but that should, to me, matter. And it doesn't seem to be weighing heavily at all. Because it's not as though, like, they've been neck and neck. It's like, Notre Dame appears to be pretty highly regarded compared to Miami.
Yeah, I just view it as Miami I don't think the resumes are similar. I think Miami has 2 worse losses. And that's where, like, if these were 2 lost teams and Miami had lost to
But
2
that's
ranked
only
teams.
because one of the 2 losses for Notre Dame is Miami. Like, Miami being good is helping the resume for Notre Dame because what you're talking about is the losses. The win that Miami has on its schedule is better than any win on Notre Dame's schedule. It's not just like you played these teams. It is you beat this team. Miami beat Notre Dame head-to-head, and we're saying Notre Dame is better than Miami. So who is that win for Notre Dame? USC? Because they're not as good as Miami this year. So that's where I really struggle with this.
Yeah,
man.
but it being a 3-point game, like, I get it. I also think we can also admit in the first week of the season there's weird stuff that happens. So, like, if today those teams played, I would pick Notre Dame. And if I am looking at their schedules, yes, I understand. Notre Dame, who's their best win? I don't know, but they took care of business against the teams that they should have. Miami did not. They did not take care of business in the ACC, which is a bad conference in football.
Agreed. Notre Dame mostly plays ACC opponents.
And they won those games.
Yeah.
Outside of Miami and A&M, who's a really good team, and they lost those games closely.
Outside of Miami, you're correct. Outside of the team that we're talking about, them being head-to-head compared to.
Send Miami home.
It's tough, man. If I'm a Miami fan, I would be really, really furious.
Give us 23
if this same thing
teams.
happened to Illinois, you would be arguing the other side of it. Because it would infuriate me if this is my team. We beat that team. I watched them play, and we won. We have the same resume, basically. I have a better win on my resume, and it's against you. We're playing mostly the same opponents, and in those games, we've been almost exactly the same in terms of like the plus-minus point differential on it all.
I do think you have to
weird spot.
If you're the selection committee, you do have to take into consideration when those losses happened. Because, like, yes, you beat them, but you beat them in the first week of the season, and Notre Dame is a different team now than what they were then.
Sure, but it happened, and we can't erase it. This is like it's saying in the NCAA basketball tournament, like when we're looking at those resumes. Yeah, early in the season, they beat teams X, Y, and Z. Yeah, those games matter. They're resume builders. It's why teams schedule them. Otherwise, if this game didn't matter, then you should never schedule a power conference opponent early in the season. You should never do it. Because what's the
point?
What's the payoff?
Yeah.
If it doesn't matter that I'm winning this game when we get to the end of the regular season, I'll just put all the cupcakes on my schedule. Because clearly all I have to do is just get the wins. Rack up the wins on my resume, and that's all that matters. So,
and that's how they say it, too, though. But, I mean, like, I think if you were to ask anybody in that selection committee, if these two teams went head-to-head right now, who comes out on top? I think everybody in that room would say Notre Dame over Miami.
In terms of, like, just better team?
Yeah, right now. They're the better team.
I believe that. But I also have to go based upon deserving to get in. And
well, sometimes fans of teams that are going to whine that their team deserved to get in have to come to reality.
Coming up next, how do we stack up the AFC right now? We'll talk about it next year on BK and Ferrario.
Tanner Hendrickson here in Missouri. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live here in the state of Missouri. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone. All safe, secure, and easy to use. Tonight, I'll be getting in on the action, taking the Blues to win their matchup against the Ducks and putting some money down on Monday Night Football tonight. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use my code TANNER, that's code TANNER, as new Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code TANNER. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Tanner Hendrickson here with a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Blues will be back in action tonight as they host the Anaheim Ducks. We'll have pregame coverage starting at 6 o'clock with Alex Ferrario and puck drop at 7 o'clock with Chris Kerber and Joey Vitale. And tonight the Blues will be without Pius Suter and Jimmy Snuggerud. They announced earlier today will undergo surgery on his left wrist. And Alexei Toropchenko is week to week after sustaining burns to his leg in a home accident. The Sports Center update was brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin heating and air conditioning dealer.
This Liam Blutman guy over on Twitter, good reporting by him. He's been all over the Penn State job, one of the very few that had the interest in BYU's current head coach. He just tweeted the following. BYU's head coach is weighing his options between staying and going. The rankings matter. BYU being slighted as an 11-1 team and not being able to compete for a national title matters. If he goes 11-1 at Penn State, he's in, and he can compete for a natty. BYU has a lot of money to make up in terms of salary and assistant pool. We know they have the money, but again, it's a lot to pay and a yearly salary that makes you think, are we better off just making a new hire potentially? Said he thinks that ultimately BYU's coach will be the next head coach at Penn State, but if he decides to stay, the backup plan, according to Liam Blutman over on Twitter, says the backup plan for Penn State would be Jeff Brom, the current head coach at Louisville, who, quote, would almost certainly accept. If Penn State were to get Brom, Will Stein would then have a decision to make between Kentucky and Louisville. If Will Stein ends up taking the Louisville job, he believes that Brian Hartline, the offensive coordinator for Ohio State, would be the next head coach at Kentucky. So
the cycle continues to roll.
But it's very possible that the BYU coach is eventually going to take the job at Penn State. All right, Alex, real quickly here. NFL side of things. The AFC is wild. I don't think any of these teams are very good. Like, just none of them. I don't believe in one of you. The current standings: 1, Denver; 2, New England; 3, the Jacksonville Jaguars; 4, the Baltimore Ravens, who stink; 5, the Chargers; 6, the Colts, who can't win a game; 7, the Bills. Outside looking in today, the Texans at number 8, the Steelers at number 9, the Chiefs at number 10. Just stop the list there. We don't have to get to the Dolphins or the Bengals or anybody else. Out of those top 7, so eliminating the Texans, Steelers, and Chiefs, do you believe in any of them? Bills, Colts, Chargers, Ravens, Jags, Patriots, Broncos. Those 7 teams, if you had to bet on one today to win the Super Bowl, who would it be?
Bills or Patriots, and probably the Bills because of Josh Allen. The Patriots are there because I think Drake May is special and Mike Vrabel's a really good head coach. And their defense is better than the Bills. But, I mean, if I were to put money on it, it would be the Bills because it's Josh Allen. And despite all of their woes, we said this earlier when we were talking about the NFC, teams don't have to be good in the regular season as long as they're great in the postseason and you get in. So if the Bills get in, I think Josh Allen could do Josh Allen things and win football games. And now he doesn't have his biggest kryptonite in the playoffs in Patrick Mahomes. So if you were to, those would be the two teams. The one that you took out is probably the one I would trust the most right now in the Texans. Because I think if you've got an elite defense, you're staying one-possession football games, and that offense can pull off one drive down the field if they need to. So those would be the teams that I would trust, and one of them is the one you took out because they're not in a playoff spot right now.
T-Bone?
Yeah, I would lean Patriots as the team I would trust right now. And I don't know that I feel great about that, but if I had to pick a team, it would be them. Look, Drake May's been playing at almost an MVP-level quarterback so far this year. Defensively, they're fine. They can run the football. Like, they are more of a complete team than I think anybody else in the field. Like Buffalo, like you say they've got Josh Allen. I've been saying that all year, and yet they're the 7th seed. They're 6-4, and they're barely getting by in these games. So I don't know if I can just look at them and say, well, Josh Allen's going to do Josh Allen things. And he's done it in the past, and it still wasn't good enough to get them over the top. So I just don't trust them. And I don't trust Denver. I don't know if Bo Nix can make enough plays when it's required to beat anybody. He's played better of late. Like, I'll give him credit for that. And they've got an elite defense like the Texans. But I think the team I would pick right now is New England. I think they are more complete than anybody that's in the playoff field right now.
I think I'd go Buffalo. I don't say that with any confidence.
Yeah.
There's no level of confidence in any of these teams. Like, if you're somebody that's really saying it with your chest right now in the AFC, dude, go over to Vegas. go over to one of these apps and put it down today, because nobody knows. How could you? This is crazy. The New England Patriots are doing this as a team that nobody thought was going to make it to the playoffs this year. The Broncos, people thought were interesting, but 10-2, the number 1 seed in the AFC right now, we didn't see that. The Jaguars just traded up and sent all of this capital away for Travis Hunter, who's not playing for them right now. Then they had to trade for Jacoby Myers to just come in and catch some passes and be a competent player. We thought that was to patch things over. Now they're potentially going to be a 3 seed? The Ravens are falling on their faces. They stink. They're terrible. Lamar looks like a shell of himself right now. That offensive line is terrible. The running game's broken. The Chargers, everybody's hurt. The Colts are falling on their face. Remember when I said that trade for Sauce Gardner, by the way, was going to be a problem?
Yeah,
and
now
we
he's
look
hurt.
back on that and think that it was a huge mistake because they went all in on Daniel Jones. Anybody excited about Daniel Jones anymore?
He's got a partially broken fibula.
Yeah, he's pushing
he looks
through.
terrible. That
His leg
offense
hurts.
looks broken.
He is.
So, I'll take Buffalo. I'm just going to take the best dude. And the best dude in the playoffs right now is Josh Allen. If the Texans get in, their defense might be the best thing that anybody does. Maybe you could argue the Broncos, but I trust the Texans offense a little more. Not a lot more, but a little more. If the Chiefs get in, I'll take them because they've got the best dude. I know how ridiculous it all sounds right now, but somebody has to come out of this godforsaken conference. Once upon a time, Eli Manning came out not once, but twice in the NFC. Joe Flacco has made it to and won a Super Bowl. Colin Kaepernick went to a Super Bowl. We've seen weird stuff happen in these conferences. Nick Foles made it to the Super Bowl and then won it against Tom Brady. So weird stuff happens. It just has been so outside of the norm in the Mahomes/Brady era for this to take place in the AFC. And this time, instead of it being the NFC where weird stuff is going to happen, it's finally happening again in the AFC. And it sure feels like this is going to be one of those years that we look back on. And my guess, Alex, somebody's career is going to be made on this playoff.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't know if it's going to be it's possible Trevor Lawrence gets to the Super Bowl this year. It's possible. If he does, it may be the one season in his career that we look back on and we're like, man, good career, Trevor Lawrence. And he had 1 year that was good.
Yeah.
And it was this one.
He makes the Hall of Fame off of it.
Yeah. Like this happens for guys sometimes. And it hasn't happened in a while, but there used to be one-off seasons, and feels like that's going to be the case this year in the AFC. All right, coming up next, we'll have the rewind here on 101 ESPN.
Alex Ferrario with you. Look, the holiday season is here. It feels like it outside with all of that snow. So now is the time to get on out to Ted Drew's off of Chippewa, that famous destination that's been around since 1926. Celebrate St. Louis's tradition at its finest with that famous frozen custard. But it's not just that. It's also the Christmas tree lot season. It's now officially open where you can walk through the Ted Drew's parking lot and check out the beautiful selection of premium Christmas trees. They've got top quality pine and fir trees. Also, they have a Christmas tree lot with lush holiday greenery where you can buy handmade wreaths, garlands, mistletoe, and so much more. All of that is available while supplies last, so you don't want to wait around. You want to make sure you stop by earlier to pick out the best selection. Of course, they'll help you load the tree up, get it all ready to take back home for you while you set up for the holiday season. So while you're there, too, make sure you get those last-minute shopping done to buy Ted Drew's. You can buy Ted Drew's apparel. You can buy Ted Drew's sweaters, Ted Drew's gift cards, souvenirs, everything you want, whether it's Ted Drew's, Route 66, St. Louis related, it's all there for you. Plus, make sure you buy the Ted Drew's famous frozen custard, bring it home, put it in the freezer, and have it for all the holiday parties coming up. Ted Drew's just off of Chippewa, where tradition tastes great and the holiday feels right at home.
Alongside Alex and T-Bone on BK, it's BK and Ferrario here on 101 ESPN. If you guys missed anything from today's show, be sure to check it out on the podcast page, 101ESPN.com, and the free 101 ESPN app is where you go to find it. It's all sponsored by
Schaefer Door Company.
Hey, each week, the Fastlane and the Riz Show are battling it out in the Pick'em Challenge. I believe we won this week. I had a nice week in the Pick'em, Alex.
Baby.
But sometimes they come together and just hang out watching football. You can join CD and Rafe at the Hot Shots in Fenton this Thursday night from 6:30 to 8:30. Watch Thursday Night Football. Get signed up for some giveaways. Enjoy a cold Bud Light. It's Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30 with CD, Rafe, and Bud Light at Hot Shots in Fenton. We'll get you guys to the fast lane here in just a little bit. Please be safe out there. It looks like at least the olive that we can see here seems to be moving a little bit better than it was earlier today. So I hope the same is true for you guys out there. We've seen
slowing down a little bit too.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of people though on the text line that are saying, Alex, there's legit ice out there on the road. So be super, super careful. Listen to the fast lane. They'll have you guys taken care of from 2 to 6 here on BK and Ferrario. We'll have Blues game tonight on this station here as well. Alex, for that Blues game, it sounds like they're expecting to be without Suter, expecting to be without Jimmy Snuggerud, unfortunately, and Toropchenko for a little while. What are you watching for tonight?
Man, it's just seeing if they can carry over what they did. I think the Blues are going to go up against Ville Husso tonight.
He's been their number one guy lately.
No, well, he has Mrazek is their number one guy, and he got yanked last night against the Blue Jackets because he gave up 3 goals on like 15 shots. Husso came in and gave up a goal on the first shot that he saw. They've got goaltending problems right now because their main guy, Dostal, has been hurt. But regardless, what I'm watching for is, can you continue the same theme that we have seen now for 7 games? Defensively, they have been tight. Their goaltending has been awesome. They've been lacking offense. Can their best guys start to score a little bit more? I'll be really curious to see, because if Kaskamaki doesn't get in town, which my assumption is he's not going to get here on time because he's flying from Massachusetts, they're going to go 7 defensemen tonight. So they won't have that 4th line in place, which means you're going to see some double shifting. Anaheim's a really tough team. You're going up against Joel Quenneville's scheme. But I want to see if they continue that same theme that they've been playing with, because defensively, they look like a playoff caliber team, how they've been performing.
It's going to take this a little longer because I thought the fast lane guys might need a little bit of extra time, but it looks like they're good to go. So we'll tell you about the last Minute Blues podcast. They're going live at Hot Shots in Fenton, Alex, coming up on Tuesday, December the 16th. This is all in support of Operation Food Search. So bring a canned food or non-perishable food donation. You could score one of the brand new stickers. Alex, can you show that on the...
Oh, I just put it away.
Oh, okay, well, they've got brand new stickers. He'll show you one here in just a moment. You also have a chance to win a signed Jordan Binnington jersey, all kinds of stuff out there. Alex, Jamie, Donnie, they are doing a live edition of the Last Minute Blues podcast. Do not miss it. It's coming up on December 16th at Hot Shots. You can find all the details for that at 101ESPN.com. For Alex Ferrario and Tanner Hendrickson, I'm Brandon Kiley. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. The Fast Lane's coming up next year on 101 ESPN.